be doing is he's going to be still giving you this great information, this great entertainment and all that. But you all are going to start getting used to transitioning over to these websites because these are sites that we control so that Brother Phil can create his own version of YouTube, right? Because what's happening is that we are renters on the property of YouTube and the property of Facebook. And therefore we get treated like renters. But we want site control. The reason why you want to own real estate is not only because you're able to get appreciation of value, but you also are able to have site control where a landlord can come in and tell you, oh, I don't want you to paint your wall this way. I don't want you to have friends over at, your house at a certain time and what have you. That's essentially what YouTube does whenever people talk about health or people talk about wealth or politics that they don't agree with. And it is their right to do it, by the way. I do not feel any sense of entitlement to have freedom on YouTube or Facebook because it is not my property. This is very clear. This is, the world is not fair. The world is run by jungle politics, right? It's basically whoever is stronger. And so it behooves every single one of us, those of us who love this type of information, to understand that our presence on YouTube and our presence on Facebook further enriches them with our content. This is the same thing that happened with Black musicians from all parts of the world who get signed to record labels owned by other people. Those people monetize the content where the singers are basically renters of their own songs. Think about that. Okay? So what we're doing is we're going to make sure that you can go on to our websites, you can go on to our properties and see the live streams without having to worry about any type of censorship or any type of remediation from the so-called powers that be. And so I just wanted the brothers to chime in on this because there's no point in talking about wealth if we're not talking about ownership. And we have to own our intellectual property, our live streaming, our content, and not be subject to any whimsical censorship that other people who mean us no good may have over us. Can you two brothers chime in on this?
Well, that was the thought of building WSYP LP 95.1. We know how important media is and propaganda, and other folks and how they push propaganda, corporate media and some of the others out there, they push their own propaganda. So we created WSYP LP, and we're coming from that African-centered perspective and worldview, creating and pushing our own work and propaganda. So, I think we ought to talk about as well, Brother Heru. We had a conversation with Brother Michael Thompson with Sakona, and of course, and our good friend Dr. Obadale Kamban with Abibi Toomey and his platform. Those are very important platforms as well that I think we need to mention to our people out there.
Absolutely. There's a bbtoomey.com, which is basically an African diaspora all around the world version of Facebook that my good brother, Dr. Obadale Kamban, put together because he saw that there was a need for us to congregate in different spaces where we can tell our own stories and solve our own problems without other people trying to censor us or monetize our content. Because right now on Facebook or YouTube or any of these places, they're able to monetize us. So here we are talking about solving our problems, and they're monetizing our content and trying to solve our problems and limiting our content through throttling, through shadow banning, through all types of things. So just for you all to know that we're here because we know that a lot of our people tend to congregate in Facebook and YouTube, but make no mistake that there will be a day where if you want to get Know the Ledge and Red Pill information, you're going to have to go to Know the Ledge website, just like you go to Facebook's website or YouTube's website or YouTube's app to be able to get this information, because we're not here to monetize for other groups of people who have no investment in us. You understand what I'm saying? And understand that every single time that you are on YouTube and Facebook, your attention is the currency. They sell your viewership and your hours spent on their websites to their advertisers. That's how
Yes,
they're
they
making
do.
money.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? And so if we're talking about wealth, I want it all. I don't believe in fractions. Okay? I'm great at math, but I don't like fractions, which means that I'm not here to share with adversaries. I'll give you an example. For many years at Herbal Results, my company that makes the olive leaf extract and vitamin D and magnesium and has the cancer eradication book and what have you, and the protocols, we had our website and we sold on Amazon. And we're going to get into this conversation because people need to know this for the entrepreneurs. This is Wealth Wednesday, so I'm going to talk directly to our entrepreneurs. So most entrepreneurs, when you have a product, one of the things you want to do is get on Amazon. Amazon is where a lot of people buy products. And Amazon has created a lot of value for the customer because of its delivery methods, right? You can order something on Amazon in the morning and have it delivered to you the same day. Big up to Jeff Bezos for making that happen. There was a time when, that was not even possible. You look at Amazon's growth, Amazon Amazon started out selling books, and then he realized that wait, a book is just a product. His mind at first was disrupting the bookstore model, right, where you can buy books without having to go to a bookstore. So Barnes and Nobles and those bookstores actually started going out of business the way that Blockbuster Video went out of business once you had live streaming, right? Everything goes towards digitization, right? Everything goes towards that because the way that the human being moves is that the human being is always looking for progress in technology. And the person who has the greater technology and the more up-to-date technology will get the market share, right? So you move from VHS, Betamax to VHS to CDs and DVDs, and then you move to live streaming. And so what Jeff Bezos saw was that there was a flaw in the market. The only time you could get goods is if you actually left your house and went to a store. But what if you could actually have the goods brought to your house? That's what he realized, and he started with the books. Once he started displacing Barnes and Nobles and the other bookstores, he decided that, wait, I'm not in the business of selling books. I'm in the business of selling and delivering product to your door. And since I've got a proof of concept with books, why can't we sell screwdrivers? Why can't we sell whatever else, right? And then you have Amazon.com being the behemoth that it is now. It's very important for those of us who are interested in wealth and entrepreneurship. There's 3 pillars of wealth that I discussed a week or two ago on the show, which is what are the common ways that people become millionaires? And there are 3 common ways that people become millionaires: business ownership, real estate, stocks. Okay. Those are 3 ways that people become millionaires. And we talked about that. And if you missed that, reference the past shows that we have. Now, when you're talking about the business development, Jeff Bezos formed certain policies. So one of the policies that you will hear is the customer is always right. You all have heard that, brothers? The customer is always right?
Well, yeah. Yes, sir.
Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. So check this out. So I was aware that there's 100 million people on Amazon. And so because there's 100 million people on Amazon, you want to have your product there to be able to get into that market share. So, I would have my olive leaf extract and my different products. I'd have it on my website and I'd have it on Amazon. Okay. About 50% of my sales came from Amazon, and I was on Amazon for about 5 years. But here's what I started noticing. Number one, Amazon was taking 30% of my income.
Wow.
Just for being on their site, they're taking 30%.
Right.
Okay. But what people were doing was that Amazon became the social proof for a product. And what do I mean by that is that what people would do is that they go on Amazon and look at the reviews to make sure that your product is legit. So what would happen, and because of their fast delivery times, if they would see your product on your website, they'll go to Amazon and get the product there instead of on your website. Okay. And there's people listening who do that right now. Right. Now, if you have Amazon deliver for you, other words, you do fulfillment by Amazon, Amazon even takes more than 30%. They'll take almost close to 50% of your income, right?
Mhm.
Amazon also can arbitrarily ban your product or hold up your product because it's not listed correctly or this and that and blah, blah, blah. They could just say your product is not listed anymore. You have to appeal our decision, blah, blah, blah. It just hand them, this is random. So therefore, if 50% of your sales is coming from Amazon overnight, 50% of your income can be cut off by Jeff Bezos and his crew without any of your input at all. All right, now, here's the other issue with being renters on other people's property. Remember what I told you all earlier about the customer's always right. So here's what I started noticing on Amazon, that there are many customers on Amazon running scams. And what is the scam? I have a product I have on Amazon. I get a notice that this person has purchased the product. It is up to me to ship the product out to the person unless I'm doing fulfilled by Amazon. But you'll save money if you do your own shipping because Amazon won't take such a big cut. So I organize my own shipping where I have a third party shipper who does all of my shipping. So I don't even touch my products, right? I have a third party ship. We can get into how that business is, that organization is set up. So you don't have to be shipping all of your products. You'll get a warehouse that does third party shipping for you. They have a bot on your website that is attached to your shopping cart. Whenever there's an order, they print the label, pick your product, pack it, ship it to the person, they charge you a fee, right? Okay. Now, we can get into this, and this is how you set up business online. And the way I learned this, by the way, is a book that's about probably 20 years old right now called The 4 Hour Work Week by a guy named Tim Ferriss.
Tim Ferriss, I talk about
Yes.
that a lot.
Yes, the 4 Hour Work Week changed my life.
Mine
So
too.
yes, the 4 Hour Work Week was a book that I accidentally read in I think 2008, 2009. And when I read that book, it changed my life financially and as a business person as much as the autobiography of Malcolm X and the philosophies and opinions of Marcus Garvey changed my political and historical worldview. Okay, that's how monumental the 4 Hour Work Week was for me, because it basically showed you how you can automate everything and how you can do business and how you can use the internet, leverage the internet with products, and that you don't have to work for anyone if you know how to do this correctly. And we can do a show covering some of the principles that I learned from the 4 Hour Work Week, which is still applicable today.
I can't
Okay?
wait, man. I
Yeah,
can't wait.
we
Did
can
you
do
read
a
the
whole
long tail as well?
yes, and we can do a show. We can do a show just on that, right?
Yes,
In terms of
let's
business
set
and
that up,
products and the
please.
internet. Yeah, we could do that. We might even be able to touch on that next week.
Okay,
But
indeed.
here's the theme about ownership and doing business on Amazon. All right, so check this out. On Amazon, let's just say that you have the red pill sea moss, right? And people are buying it like crazy on Amazon, right? And you're getting orders and you're happy because every 2 weeks, so this is how it happens. Every 2 weeks, Amazon sends you a wire transfer. So you just be sitting down 2 weeks, you got $10,000 from Amazon, $5,000 from Amazon, and it goes on 2 weeks after 2 weeks, right? And that becomes part of your business income. All right, after Amazon takes their cut. So imagine if you're getting a $5,000 check and Amazon took 30 to 50%, that means you made close to $10,000 in revenue, but you're taking a cut of that pay because you are doing business on someone else's site. And your thinking is, I might not be able to get these sales if I'm not on Amazon, right? Because a lot of people like to buy on Amazon. So you'll bite the bullet. But here's the problem. Here's the scam with the customer's always right for Amazon. Do you know this? That you will deliver, United States Postal Service, FedEx delivers your product to your buyer and you get a tracking number. So you always get a tracking number. FedEx, USPS will tell you delivered at this person's doorstep at this particular time. Like it'll say delivered on Tuesday, April 7th at 12 p.m. or 12:01 p.m., right? So you have confirmation. that it was actually delivered to this person's house in the address they gave you. Do you know that that same person who received your product can report to Amazon that they never received the product? And guess what Amazon does?
That's right.
Amazon will refund their payment to them. So they got their money back. They got their money back, and Amazon says, hey, customer, you're always right. But you, the vendor, the business person, is out of product. You lost your product. And what I noticed was I would get these violations, basically. Out of every 100 shipments, maybe 10 are saying that they never got their product. In which then Amazon is refunding them the money back, and I lost my product. I lost my money for my product because the person got the product and their money back. I'm not able to get the product back from them. It was about, I was starting to see around 10% of the orders were getting this type of notice that these people never received their product. And then you write back to Amazon, here's the tracking number that confirms that it was actually delivered to this person's address. And Amazon would still rule in favor of the customer. So you chalk it up to say, well, maybe the post office delivered to the wrong address and the person never got it, right? So maybe that could be it. Is that, you might put, 2020 East, Maple Street, and maybe the post office or FedEx delivered to 2010 East Maple Street. But what I started noticing, y'all, is that I would get no reports from customers who bought on my website. Now, this is very important. See, if I was only selling on Amazon, I would think that it was a mistake of the shipper, of the post office, or FedEx. But because I also had a sense of ownership and had my own property, which is herbalresults.net, I was able to compare 100 orders on herbalresults.net, 0 complaints of lack of delivery. I'm talking for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 6 months, 7 months, 8 months, 9 months, 10 months, 11 months, 12 months. Amazon, within a year, I had maybe 120 to 200 complaints that they never got their product. Only with Amazon orders. That's when I realized the Amazon customers have learned how to run a scam to get products for free.
That's right. Right.
Okay. So some people will say, hey, maybe it was stolen, right? Oh, FedEx just left it at the corner of your house, or they whatever. But then I started realizing, well, I'm doing the same shipments with FedEx and USPS on my website. But somehow nobody's ever complaining from orders on my website that they never got the product or that it was stolen. But every 10 orders on Amazon, I'm getting a complaint that they never got it. That, oh, it was stolen. Oh, it never got to my address, blah, blah, blah. And even if it shows that it was delivered with a picture on their doorstep that FedEx will do for you, Amazon will still refund them their money. I said to myself, you know what? I'm being taken for a fool at this point, and I'm becoming dependent on Amazon for my income, which makes me vulnerable. It's called a vector. So when you look at business analysis, you have what you call a SWOT analysis: strength, weaknesses, opportunities, and all that, right? And so I'm looking at it, I'm saying, well, one of the weaknesses of my business model is that I'm dependent on Amazon for 50% of my income. Here I am talking about liberation and freedom, but I'm shackled by Amazon. I said to myself, I'm going to have to bite the bullet and take a loss of people not being able to buy my products on Amazon and do 100% herbal results. So that if people really want the product, they're going to come to my website. And it's my job. I cannot piggyback off of the work of Jeff Bezos. That's the other part of it. Jeff Bezos did his work to make Amazon a brand. And so what you're doing when you go on Amazon is that you are piggybacking off of the work of Jeff Bezos. And I'm saying to myself, I don't want to piggyback off of anybody. I'm going to control my own destiny. I'm going to work my brand to be as powerful as Amazon. You see, like when you're looking at business, you should always say to yourself, who's number one and how can I take the gold medal from them? Because if you're not there to take the gold medal, then what are you doing? Okay? So when we looked at this analysis, I look at this analysis, strength, weaknesses, opportunities, threats, and I'm like, yo, threat to my business is Amazon shutting me down and not selling. My weakness is the fact that 50% of my income is coming from Amazon. So when you look at it, I removed that weakness and I removed that threat, because invariably you'll get notices from Amazon literally threatening you that they're going to take down the listing because they didn't like something about your product. This is Amazon now. You just wake up in the morning, you're feeling great, you're doing great business. Amazon says, we're not listing your product anymore because of X, Y, Z. Or they can even say, we're not delivering your product anymore because the post office has a 10% late delivery of your products. And it's not even your fault, right? You say that like the post office is supposed to deliver in 2 or 3 days. The post office decides that they're backed up or FedEx is backed up and they start delivering your products instead of day 2, day 3. That gets reported to Amazon and it's not in your hands, and then they delist your product. So these are the problems of tying your wagon to another person's horse, particularly another culture's horse, who doesn't give a damn about you or what you're trying to do. So it's incumbent on us to always deal with ownership in developing our brand, as they say in Black America, getting it from the mud. Because when you get it from the mud, you build your own foundation. I don't want to get it from Jeff Bezos' mud. I want to get it from Heru's mud. Know the Ledge wants to get it from its mud. Sankofa Revolutionary Radio wants to get it from its mud. That's the foundation that we're building upon. So what we're saying to our listeners is that if we're providing you value, what you're going to do is you're going to reciprocate and you're going to come to our mud, and not the mud of YouTube and not the mud of Facebook.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, they're monetizing you when you're looking for solutions for your life.
Right.
Usually these problems have been created by them in the first place.
Right.
So they create your problems of not giving you wealth or not teaching you how to be wealthy. And what you're doing is, everyone tuned into this show that tunes in religiously, they're looking for solutions to their problems, whether it's health or wealth. They're looking for tangible ways that they can increase their income within the societies that they're living in. And this is what I attempt to do every single week: teach you tangible ways, show you the numbers, show you my success, show you my failures. This is why I'm talking to you about Amazon. There's some of you right now who are thinking about putting their business on Amazon, and this conversation has changed your way of thinking. Is giving you another variable to think about, where, hey, if you do Amazon for some time, you might do it for a year, but then you're going to transition out of it. Just like how we're on Facebook and YouTube and we're going to transition out of it and we're going to go to our own properties. So start getting used to this, listeners, that if we're talking about Kuji Chagalia, which is self-determination, and what we stand for and what we do, what you're going to do as the listeners is we're going to start practicing Kuji Chagalia from the content provider's point of view and the listener's point of view. That if we're talking about ownership to you, the best example for us to be owners is for you to be tuned in, listening to what we're providing you on our own platforms, or else we would be hypocrites. Okay? So this is very important. This is very important. This is a very important conversation I wanted to have with the listeners, okay? So I'm going to stop here if you got any questions in what we're talking about.
No, I don't have any questions, brother. I think we're on the same page here, and we're prepared. Not only talking, but we've been in communication with Michael Thompson, and Dr. Badalay is already. We already have presence there, and of course now I'm doing the same thing as you, brother. Merchandise, products, and books. We sell. We're not selling with Amazon. we're selling that WSYP on the internet, our website. So you can get our products right there and also tune in right there. We say I shaded that, my brother.
Absolutely. And so this is what we're doing is that from now on, it won't be this week because I want to give the users an opportunity
Yes.
to get used to this. But by next week, y'all, we will be going live, but we're going to start making transitions in the
Yes.
middle of the show to give you all enough notice that, hey, if you're listening on Know the Ledge YouTube, you're going to have to go to Know the Ledge website. So
Yes,
maybe
indeed.
at 9:20 a.m. Eastern Standard, we make the transition. So we set the tone for the show. And when we get into the real nuts and bolts of what we're talking about, the real value will be on our websites. The real value will not be on YouTube, will not be on Facebook. We're only using it as a clarion call to let you all know, hey, we're live. And now it's time to, in the middle of the show, make the transition to the properties that we own, and then let's get busy. And that's what we're going to start doing starting next week. We're not going to do it this week because we know people aren't used to it right now, and we're working out some of the technical stuff. But right now, this is exactly what we are going to do. Okay. And this is very important for everyone to recognize that this is the habits of a people who are independent. We are not dependent on Amazon. We are not dependent on YouTube or Facebook for our survival. Woe be on to the person who relies on another person for their survival, or another group of people for their survival. Woe be on to them, beyond to them. So we are going to practice what we preach, and we are going to give people a grace period. You understand what I'm saying? So that's what it is. So I know we have a question about what's going on with the news.
Yes.
Okay, so this is what we're going to do. I need to lay the foundation before we get into the stock market and forex charts and all of that. And this is very important. I need people to understand, even business, about what is most valuable in life. Okay, so let's talk about something, because once the listenership gets these concepts, you understand why I do what I do and why I talk about what I talk about and how I talk about what I talk about. And this is very important. It's very, very important for the listenership to understand this. Okay, so just absorb this, listeners. Every society that you live in, there's people, and I'm talking about societies because our listenership is more than America, right? While some of us as a broadcasters in America, Brother Phil was in Colombia just the other day. I'm in Africa every other, I have businesses in Africa. I have business in the United States. I also have businesses and property in the Caribbean. So I tend to travel a lot, and I get to see the world and have relationships in different parts of the world. So I'm able to observe different societies from a firsthand point of view, in different nations and different cultures and what have you. So I've had a very fortunate existence of being able to see the earth in real terms. Okay. Every society that you live in tells you what is most valuable by how it punishes you. Listen very carefully. For some of you, this is the first time that you might be hearing this. So some of you would know that I used to be a lawyer, right? So, I used to do criminal law and what have you, and civil, law as well. So when you offend the laws or break the laws in every society, that society punishes you in different ways. And almost every society has 3 measures of punishment of those who break the law. And the way they punish you, the point of the punishment is that it's called avoidance trading. So they want to train you to avoid that behavior in the future. So what they do is they punish you with the things that the society deems the most important. So when you break the law, there's 3 main ways that you're punished. 1, the death sentence. right? For the most serious loss. So what they're saying is that life is very important. Life is very important. Okay. Number two, they might fine you. So if you break the law, like your speeding ticket or whatever, even if you steal something, you might have to pay restitution. They'll fine you. If you don't, you know, XYZ on time, they'll fine you, right? They fine businesses if you have certain violations. So you break the law, you get a fine. So there's a monetary punishment. And then the third punishment is incarceration. And incarceration is known as what? Doing time. So what the society has told you that the three most important things in this society that the society values the most is what? Your life, your money, and your time. I want you all to think about that. Your life, your money, and your time. So that means in this society that you're living in, you would have to prioritize your life, your money, and your time. This is what's deemed as the three most important things to function within the society, because that's what they take away from you when you're in violation. Okay. Well, you have your life and you're operating. Let's talk about money and time, and let's start thinking about what's most important. Is money the most important thing, or is time the most important thing? What would you say, and why would you say it? So, red pill, brother Anthony, is money more important than time, or is time more important than money?
I would say the time is of the utmost importance. Time is finite. Time is not a currency. And time is your lived moments. Time is attached to the most important thing, which is your life. And every moment, every second that goes by is is something being taken out of that account. The result of your sweat equity and the results of relationships that have been bonded or have been matured throughout your time is what the quote unquote currency is. That's what the monetary residue would be. But the
Mhm.
real wealth and the real finite asset is time.
Okay. What about you, brother Anthony?
Oh, it's got to be time. You've seen and heard some wealthy folks that give up their money to go back in time.
Hmm. Okay. All
It's
right. So
definitely time.
let's evaluate that. Both of you are saying time. All of us know people who got a lot of time and no money, right? Those are people that are affectionately called bums, right? They got all the time in the world. They got time to sleep on the couch. They got time to play Xbox. They got 30 years of basically being a bum and not making any money. And their lives are miserable because without the money, they don't have any choices. They're subjected to the whims of anything that's happening to them. They can't travel when they want. They can't eat what they want. They can't even sleep where they want, right? So this is a person who has all the time in the world, within their lifespan, but has no money. So we know that money is important, right? So money is important for that person who has all the time in the world. But what happens to someone who has all the money but no time? That person becomes a slave, right? And I know people like that because we want to start comparing realities and then to find where the middle ground is and to start rating things, right? So I can tell you that when I went to law school, I have many friends now who are partners in law firms. And when I went to undergrad, I was pre-med in undergrad. So I have many friends who I went to university with who are now doctors, right? So I have a wide range of friends that I went to school with, doctors and lawyers, right? Because of my educational training. And I talk to them, the old friends from college and law school, and talk to them. And they have money, but they don't have time.
Mhm.
Um, to make partner in a law firm, a New York law firm, you might work 70 to 80 hours a week. They have no time to make a family. Particularly, there's a lot of women who chose their career, who were friends of mine who regret it now because they worked 80 hours a week, their partner at a firm, but they don't have a life partner. They don't have a husband, you know, or they don't have a relationship that has endured any length of time because they were always working. They were never able to raise children properly because they didn't have time. But they've got a lot of money. And basically, it's what we call the golden handcuffs, right? It's made out of gold, but it's handcuffs nonetheless.
All right, brother Heru,
Yes.
hold, put a pin right there. Hold that point, man, because we're limited in time. We want to get all the callers on if we can. By the way, the call phone number is 205-417-7552. If it pleases you two, brother, let's go to the phone and talk to caller 317. You on with Brother Red Pill and Brother Heru.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. This is Farmer John.
Can we turn up the volume a little bit, Brother Anthony? It's hard to hear, Farmer John.
Yeah, you come off that earpiece, Brother John, and speak directly in that phone me, my brother.
Okay, can you hear me better now?
Yes, sir.
It's better.
Okay. Yeah. I'm listening to what he's saying, and I'm in full agreement. You know, time is money. And if you don't have time, what good does it do you to be able to do and make a bunch of money if you never have time to enjoy it or to use it on the things that you want to that we're trying to get it for. I guess my question would be, you know, what are some of the things that we can do, even from a young age, or somebody such as myself who's in the 60s? What can we do to help to generate wealth to where not only does it benefit us, but also generations behind it?
Yep. And I'm definitely going to get into that. So he said, what can we do to generate wealth and to deal with time in a serious way? So that's exactly what I'm going to get into. And to understand these concepts allows you to start off your wealth journey the proper way. So for instance, I'll give you an example. Do you all know that B.B. King, you've heard of B.B. King, right? The musician, the blues musician. You know that B.B. King, he couldn't play guitar and sing at the same time. A lot of people don't know that. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
You see people strumming and singing at the same time, playing. Well, he couldn't play guitar and sing at the same time because when he started learning how to play guitar, he would just play the guitar and not sing at the same time. So he started off with a bad habit.
Mm-hmm.
So if your intention is that I'm not only going to be a great guitar player, I want to be a guitar player and singer, do it at the same time. So you want to learn these habits, right? It's like baseball, right? If you want to be a great hitter, you would want to learn how to hit left-handed and right-handed, but you would start that off as a child. So you start the habits off right based on where you want to go. So this is very important to understand this. So that therefore, if you're going to choose a business, if you understand the value of time and money, you're going to choose a business and a business model that gives you the most amount of time and the most amount of money. See, a lot of times people get into businesses and don't maximize for those two things because they just have gotten into business and they end up being the guitar player who can only play guitar but can't sing at the same time. You've got to be able to do both time and money maximization, right? Okay, so check this out. When I started Herbal Results, I was making all the products myself. Literally. And so I would spend 18-hour days. I would do the mixing of the tincture of the olive leaf. I would do the bottling. I would do the labeling. I would do everything. And so as the business started growing, I started getting orders from pharmacies. And the pharmacies would order 500 bottles at a time, sometimes 1,000 bottles at a time. And it would take me several days to be able to fulfill an order, working 18-hour days and sleeping maybe 4 hours during the day, right? So, and then maybe having 2 hours to family time or running errands, whatever. But I was literally working 18-hour days sleeping 4 hours a night, and then maybe having 2 hours to eat food or do whatever. So that comes out to 24 hours. So I was making good money now, right? Where I didn't have to work for anybody, but all of my time was spent making the products and, shipping the products out, and, the customer service stuff of people asking questions, customers asking questions, wholesale buyers asking questions, wholesale buyers interested, wanting price lists, all of that. So there's moving parts of the business, but I was handling every single part of that business myself. It was cute for the first few months because you're happy that you're getting business, right? And you're making money, like more money than you ever made with a dream that you had of a product, right? Because we can also talk about the power of being able to come up with a concept in your mind and see it come to fruition. That's addictive for people who are high performers. That's a secret that's not really shared with people. People who are high performers, they're actually addicted to the dopamine rush of being able to create something from an idea and see it in flesh. Very similar to a musician who writes a song in the middle of the night out of inspiration, and then a year later they're performing that song on stage, and every single person in the crowd is singing it back. Right? That idea to make into flesh, the ability to make an idea into flesh is very addictive for those who've been successful doing it, and that is one of my addictions. Right? And that's why I have a lot of ideas. Because so here's go ahead, brother.
Well, based off of what you were just saying about that addiction of being able to manifest in real time, a lot of people are now becoming overly addicted in the age of AI because you can actually do that in the span of a day, which would take about a week or two. People are making 20 songs in one day. People are manifesting ideas from morning, and by nighttime you have concept, you have protocol right on your table or ready to ship. So there's a lot of dopamine, and it's even leading to fatigue and whatnot. But people are really compounding their quote unquote dopamine, especially if you're a serial entrepreneur such as myself, being able to finish products, finish thought, and actually monetize it and whatnot. So please continue.
Yes, and what we're going to find out is that in every era of human existence, those people who have this dopamine addiction to creating something from nothing usually become the most productive people in the society and the most wealthy people in the society. And there are definitely two sides of the coin, but there are positive addictions and negative addictions, right? And it's just about its utility. But that's a whole nother conversation. And so here's the deal: is that what I found is that I was making good money, but I had no time, and I felt enslaved by my business. So you never want to get into business and feel enslaved by your business, which many business owners and entrepreneurs actually feel. So what you have to do, and what I had to do was, when I looked at the 4-hour work week, I looked at the automating of my business to take the tasks away from me. So I was able to hire a contract manufacturer who I gave my formulas to, and they would make my bottles by the thousands. I no longer had to deal with the mixing and the pouring and the bottling and all of that because I got that outsourced. I no longer had to deal with the shipping. So I was able to get that outsourced as well with a third-party shipper. And so realizing that time is actually more important than money. Money is important. Remember, life, money, time, those three things are important, but they're within a hierarchy. And all three things are actually necessary. So I don't want to say that none of those things are necessary. All three are necessary. And anyone who tells you that none of those are necessary, one of them aren't necessary, just look at their life and see if you want to emulate them, right? All three are necessary because money gives you choices. Time gives you freedom. He who is in control of his own time is the freest person that you know, but the freer person is the person who's in control of their own time and their own money. When we talk about life, that's when we talk about health and extending your life. Because what we know is that Warren Buffett, at 90 years old, would most likely give away all of his money to be 20 years old again, right? So we know that time in life are the our hierarchy, right? Everyone wants to keep their life, but within keeping your life, you want to be able to control your time. Then after you control your time, you want to be able to control your money. Okay. And what happens is that a lot of people get into business and don't understand that hierarchy where it's flipped, where the money becomes number one. They work themselves to death. So that means their life is secondary and their time is third, right? Other words, you have money, but you're unhealthy. So you shorten your life and you're working all the time. So you have no time or freedom, right? So there's no point in having money without freedom and health. There's no point in having health, but you've got no time and no money. There's no point in having time, but not having health and no money. So I need people to start thinking about those three things because the legal system lets you know what is most important by how they punish you. Capital punishment by taking your life, incarceration by taking your time, civil penalties by taking your money. They've already told you and whispered to you what is most important. And so when you understand that, you organize your life based on those hierarchies. And when you master those three things, you have a life that's worth being followed. And what I've been able to do with my life and my time is that I'm very free because of these concepts. And what I'm saying is that you can get into business, make a lot of money, open up a mom and pop shop somewhere, a retail store somewhere, but then you start realizing the detriments that come with that operation. So let's look at it. You can open
Before you go there, brother, let's
Yes.
we're at the top of the hour. We're going to do our station identification. You listen to WSYP OP 95.1 Sankofa Revolutionary Radio. And before you even move forward, let's see if Farmer John have a follow-up before we close him out. Farmer John, you have a follow-up or statement or question?
Yeah. Listening to what he's saying, and even how he.
Yeah, go ahead.
It appears to me that if we learn how to collaborate with each other instead of trying to do everything ourselves, as many of us have tried to do, and we learn to collaborate and work with each other to build a system that can free us all up, give us all money and the time, and have us live in a healthy environment. That will be the ideal ecosystem for us to try to develop, especially among our communities.
Yes, sir. Yeah, yep. Good point. Thank you, Farmer John. Let's go to 813. 813, you on with Brother Red Pill and my brother Heru.
I'm sorry. Can you hear me okay?
You got to speak up a little bit. You're not got an earphone. Take that out for us so we can hear you better.
Is this better?
Absolutely.
Okay, I have a quick question. I'm just joining in the call, so I haven't heard everything, but I hear you guys speaking on time and money. I have a teenager who just recently started his first job, and I'm trying to set him off on the right track financially. So I was wondering if he can break down how I can direct him in regards to saving versus spending, how much he should put up, how much he should take in, something like that, if that's possible.
All right, Brother Heru.
Yeah, I'll definitely get into that. A book that's instructive on like how much you should save is a book called The Richest Man in Babylon. And in there, it actually changed my life too. It just talked about pay yourself first. It's a very simple concept of whatever money that you get, whether it's weekly, monthly, you take 20% aside and you pay yourself first and you put that into your own saving fund. So on a very simple level for your son, the goal is to save 20% of his income every paycheck. Now, I'm not one who advocates saving money because I talked about in our very first episodes that when you save money, you actually lose money. because of the rate of inflation being 8% per year and the bank's paying 0.01% in your savings account. So you're actually losing 7.99% of your money's value every year that you save your money. And so the better vehicle is reinvesting it into assets. But to be able to reinvest into assets, you have to have certain knowledge of assets and how assets move. And that's what we'll be doing in this show when we talk about different investment vehicles. But remember that we stay with the 3 pillars of wealth. 3 pillars of wealth is business creation and ownership, real estate, and stocks. Okay? So if you want the greatest opportunity to be wealthy, you do what the greatest number and percentage of wealthy people did to be wealthy. We reverse engineer success. If you want to be a great basketball player, you want to watch the greatest basketball players and do what they did in terms of their practice. And so if you want to be wealthy and you want your son to be wealthy, it's important for him to study wealthy people and how they became wealthy. And you're going to find out that it was through business ownership, real estate, and or stock investing. You will find out that mainly people's wealth is held in their stock portfolio. Jeff Bezos' wealth is held in his stock portfolio. Elon Musk's wealth is held in his stock portfolio. So they don't even have $1 billion in cash, but they own $1 billion in equity. And this is very important because it grows while cash does not. But we're going to get into all of that. But just as a starter on a remedial level, to give you an instruction is that everybody from their paycheck, if you're a 9-to-5 worker, you pay yourself first, 20%. Put that aside, and you do that over time, you'll be accumulating money. Then when you learn about assets, you can then deploy your savings into the assets that's going to cause you to grow. But it's going to require a little education and to start looking at the benefit of this asset versus that asset. And I covered that in the previous show when I talked about what it takes to build a successful business, all the moving parts of that, what it takes to successfully invest into a property, real estate, and all of the pros and cons and the moving parts of that, and then what it takes to successfully invest in stocks and what the pros and cons in that. And what we found is, to a consensus to the 3 brothers on the panel, is that it's easier to be a millionaire with stocks because it doesn't have all of the moving parts that the other 2 modalities have, right? And we can cover that again in another show, but it's very important for people to understand it. So when you understand the playing field, you're able to apply yourself at the beginning in the proper way so that you don't become a guitar player that can only sing one time and play the opposite time. You want to be able to do these things together because you started the proper habits. And this is what I'm trying to get people to do. I'm not trying to get people to become clones of me, but I'm trying to give you a way to think about the world that you can start applying yourself so that you don't fall into these pitfalls later on. So as I continue, when we start talking about building wealth through business, your question to yourself is lifetime and money. How do I prioritize these things in the proper order? And so what do I mean? That means that you want to choose a business or an investment that requires the least amount of time from you possible. Correct? This is what we're doing in terms of reverse engineering success. If you want to be able to control your time, because time is the second most important thing after life, right? It goes life, time, money, right? You want all 3 things, but you prioritizing in order of these 3 things. Then the question becomes, before I become wealthy, how do I want to become wealthy? Well, I want to do a business that requires the least amount of time from me. What does that mean? You start looking at businesses and you say to yourself, what are the main types of businesses? See how I'm breaking this down very granularly so that people understand. Well, it turns out that there's mainly 2 types of businesses. There's a service-based business and there's a product-based business. Okay? Service-based business and a product-based business. Those are 2 types of businesses. You're either providing a service for money or you're providing a product for money. What are the qualities of a service-based business? How do you make money with a service-based business? A service-based business, you're selling your time. I want y'all to think carefully about this. A service-based business, you're selling your time. So the only time that you make, the only way you make money with a service-based business is through your time. So that means that your time is tied up with your business, and that money is a consequence of the time that you spend for your business. But if you're prioritizing time over money, a service-based business is the worst thing to be engaged in, because the only time you're making money, or the only moments that you're making money, is when you're selling your time. You never want to sell your time.
This is very important. Very important. Very important. Look, before you go further, let's find out. 813. Did Brother Hebrew answer your question? You got a follow-up or statement? 813.
No, I appreciate the lesson. I'll get that book for him. Thank you so much.
Thanks for calling. All right, Brother Hebrew.
Yeah. This is important to understand before you start getting into wealth creation. Just people like, I gotta make money. But what I want people to do is just sit down and breathe, and let's just start looking at the playing field in the landscape of how we're going to get to the touchdown on this football field. You can get to the touchdown because the field is 100 yards. But do you want to get to the touchdown with all types of blockers in the way, or do you want to run a straight line to the touchdown? I prefer to run a straight line.
Yep.
I don't want to have, all these people I got to get past to get to that touchdown. So I want the smoothest way to get to the touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
And so because of that, a service-based business is not the smoothest way to make money for your life, because a service-based business is predicated on you selling your time. Very, very important. I have friends who are lawyers and doctors, but the only way they make money is when they're selling their time. That's why they have time for nothing else. They don't have time for freedom. They don't have freedom, because every dollar they get is associated to them sacrificing their time and selling it. So you don't want to get caught up into that vicious cycle of the only time you make money is when you sell your time. So now, if you get in,
on time, Brother Red Pill brought it up. Artificial intelligence and AI. How has that helped, or has it helped with time for those who service? Service?
So artificial AI has cut down on the time variable to be able to accomplish a task. So those people who are in service-based businesses, your best friend is going to be your best friend, and your best hope to free up your time,
right,
is AI.
That's right.
Like, this is important for people to think about these things. And that's why I know Phil has a big focus on AI on his channel, and he's educating people on AI. But what he's doing is he's helping you free up your time. I'll give you an example. I'm working on a property development project in Ghana, right? So I'm working on designing homes that I'm going to be selling in Africa, right? Now, I could spend a lot of time on blueprints for a house,
right,
which would require CAD design, or even me hiring an architect, which basically I'm buying his time.
Right.
But I could actually go through AI and get a house design within 5 seconds.
No limit in time. That's right.
So now my time and my money is freed up because AI is able to take care of these details. So what's happening now is that people in service-based businesses, if you do not use AI, you will not be competitive.
That's right.
Because we can talk about this now, Brother Anthony, because I don't want to do all the talking. We've had conversations because, a lot of people, we have behind the scenes conversations. I'm a retired lawyer. You're a practicing lawyer, Brother Anthony. Why don't you share with people what you got cooking with AI and what you're doing in terms of time and freeing yourself of time.
Oh, yeah, it has helped me tremendously. If you don't know, I'm an attorney, and of course, I do a lot of third party work with paralegals and those types of things. Guess what? I no longer need their service because of AI.
Right.
So and furthermore, with AI, I've created my own dashboard to help out with forms and documents and those types of things, which I would use sometime a paralegal for. So it's tremendous in time, man. So you're right on point with that. Brother Red Pill, you make an add to this.
Yes, Brother Red Pill, do you want to comment on AI and service? So
AI
like,
and
yes.
service is a cheat code, you know. AI and service is a cheat code. Coincident. I mean, just interestingly enough, I'm in a I was texting a friend of mine who is an elder, and I've spent, I would say, the last 5 or 6 months attempting to get this person, a little bit of get them hip to the AI, just get them past the threshold of what I would call media induced fear, paralysis of analysis. People are allowing the media, who has the same media that put poison in their body, the same media that told them about Bitcoin and helped to keep them in poverty, the same media that keeps them as a quote unquote docile robot, basically what we would call an NPC, right? Not allowing people to see their full potential, keeping them under the spell, keeping them brainwashed and whatnot. And the latest brainwash that they're rolling out is to keep our people away from technology that happens to be free and open source. One of the most cutting edge breakthroughs in terms of democratizing tools of industry that we've ever seen, right? We've never had a time like this where we had access to tools of industry, and the quote unquote entry point or the entry level was basically the bar was so low that anybody could enter, right? Because remember when you could not even participate in the stock market unless you had a certain amount of money in order to even be even to talk to a broker.
Mm-hmm.
So we're in that period now where we have access to some of the most state of the art tools that the consumer can put their hands on, right? Because people have to come to conclusions as to who they are. We are consumers, ladies and gentlemen. Those that are prosumers, that are into enterprise, you have a different type of access than a consumer has. Even when it comes to AI tools, you have more powerful tools. You have the $1 trillion, $1 billion businesses will work with you as a more as a valued customer or as a valued partner versus somebody that's paying SaaS, subscription as a service, the $20 a month. Yeah, the customer is always right, but you won't even get the benefits of compute time, speed, efficiency, customer service if you have an enterprise plan. So we are now in a day and time where the playing field has been leveled. The tools are powerful tools, power tools, no code tools. You literally could, if you work at a corporate America position, if you put together a proper strategy, you could be that corporate that business's competition in less than 6 months. You talking about getting fired from a job? You could actually take over a job or you could disrupt an entire industry with the knowledge that you have utilizing AI properly.
And this is real talk. Like this is very real, and it's happening now. And I mean, I just want people to know that with artificial intelligence, it you're able to do the job of 20 people. Anything that's digitally done, that can be done digitally, artificial intelligence will be able to do it better. And so what's going to happen is that any businesses that are not employing artificial intelligence will not be able to compete in the marketplace because it can be done for cheaper with artificial intelligence. And so that business will be able to lower their price of their services because they don't have the same operating costs as another business. And this is very important. So, I mean, I'll give you all an example of service-based business for you all to really kind of get the point of where this is going. That if you do choose a service-based business, you're going to need AI to be able to compete. So let me make it very clear to people so that you understand the playing field before you enter a business and you decide that this is what I want to do to get wealthy, right? To me, a product-based business is always better because a product-based business, you can still use AI, but you're making money in your sleep. So for instance, when I was practicing law, I made money by the hour, or I made money when I would do a case, right? But you're really selling your time. When I became a product maker, I make money in my sleep. So when I'm sleeping, or I'm on an airplane, or I'm on the beach, I'm getting orders for products. And I get notices of orders of products when I'm not doing anything, right? That allows me to free up my time to do these radio shows and to do these types of things for free. Because as I'm sitting here talking to you all, I'm getting orders without having to apply any of my time, right? But I can't do this radio show and be hired to do a service at the same time unless I have an AI agent working for me, right? So this is very important for you all to understand the lay of the land, because what you want to do is you want to maximize your time, which is your freedom, and you want to maximize your money, which is your choices. Money gives you choices. Time control gives you freedom. Money control gives you choices. Time control gives you freedom. Health gives you quality of life, right? And if you don't manage time and money, you're not going to have health in terms of quality of life. All of these things are very important to understand. So when you're doing something, you're able to do it with intention, right? And that's why we don't have these conversations enough, because a lot of people who've been successful in things aren't necessarily open to coming on shows for free to drop gems. But I can do this for free because I'm making money in other ways. So I don't need to charge people to talk to them to drop these types of jewels on you, because I have my situation already set up. And the best thing that I can do is just share this information with you for free. There'll be times where maybe there's master classes or whatever, but I need people to get a world view to understanding that wealth doesn't happen by accident. And the reason why wealth doesn't happen by accident is because those people who get money by accident, like win the lottery or gamble and win something, that money gets lost and gone. They say that the average time for someone who wins the lottery to go bankrupt is like 2 to 3 years. You see athletes with $100 million contracts going bankrupt because no one sat down with them to be able to explain to them a worldview when it comes to life, time, and money. These conversations are very important. So a product-based business is what you'd want to do. But if you're going to do a service-based business, you'd want to use AI. And here's why AI is going to be indispensable. I'll give you an example. Someone comes to your door. Let's say you own a house and you live on an acre of land. Well, you're going to need someone to cut your grass, unless you're going to cut it yourself. Someone knocks on your door and says, hey, listen, I can cut your grass for $100 a cut. And he comes in, he has a crew of people. And this guy has to pay the owner of the lawn care company, which is a service, has to pay 2 or 3 people for the labor of cutting your grass every week, right? Or every 2 weeks. And I'm giving you a real example because this is what happens to me. So when I'm in America, I live on over an acre of land, and everyone who lives next to me, all my neighbors live on an acre of land. The plots are big here where I am. And you have to have either someone cut your grass or you cut your grass. And so you hire people to do this as an extra cost of owning a house, right? So they're charging like $100 per cut. And he might make $30 because he has to pay his employees, right? Okay, so he's walking away with $30, the business owner, of that $100 because he has several employees that he has to pay per hour. Okay. The next person comes and says, hey, I've got a remote control lawnmower. They have those now, by the way. They have remote control AI lawnmowers that will map out your property, and you just press a button and that lawnmower will go and cut your grass without any human intervention.
Yes, they do. Yep.
Okay.
Robo lawnmowers.
Okay. So check this out. If I'm the owner of robo lawnmowers, I can still charge you $30 per cut because that's the profit I would have made if I would have had employees. I've now cut my operating expenses, but guess what? I can offer you to cut your grass for $30. Or the guy can offer me to cut my grass for $30. Guess which deal I'm going to take? I'm going to take the deal for $30 to cut my grass. I don't care who does it or how it's done. I just want my grass cut. That person makes the same lick of $30 to have me as a customer. But guess what happens? He gets the whole neighborhood because he's able to give the whole neighborhood a $30 deal. And he is now taken over the market share of everyone who is hiring human beings. What we're going to find out, and this is what people are going to need to understand, anything that has to do with human labor or human inputs will be financially irresponsible to hire a human being over AI. What do I mean by that? Every business has a fiduciary responsibility to its shareholders and investors. The fiduciary responsibility is to maximize profit. The way that you maximize profit is to scale your business for more customers and to minimize operational expenses. If a human being is more expensive to hire versus AI, why would you hire a human being that is going to, one, cost you more money, two, human beings need a lunch break, AI robots don't, human beings want a vacation, AI robots don't, human beings want healthcare, AI robots don't, human beings want bathroom breaks, maternity leave, showing up to work late, turnover, new people have to be trained. Do you see how expensive it's going to be to hire a human being versus an AI as a company owner? See, there's a lot of people who get very disturbed by these conversations because most people are 9-to-5 workers. So this frightens people and they get very mad. But what I'm telling you is that the business owner, and if you become a business owner tomorrow, you will not be able to keep your business afloat if you have to hire human beings. And this is what is about to happen. And this is what's happening right now. Amazon is laying off 30,000 workers. UPS is laying off workers because everything is being done by AI now. And the thing is that these companies will not be competitive if they keep human beings in the labor force. I was able to design a whole village of homes using AI and not having to hire an architect. So that architect that I would have hired maybe 5 years ago is just lost out on about $3,000 to $5,000 for me to design a home. I no longer have to pay him because I have AI will do it. You're going to start seeing doctors and surgeons go out of business. Why? Because you're going to have AI robots that will be able to do surgery with 1/1000th of a millimeter of perfection, where a human being's hand won't be able to do the same thing, where it's going to be more efficient and better for the health of the patient to have an AI robot do the surgery because they'll make less mistakes. Transportation. I've said this for years and people need to get ready for this. A lot of people who are in between jobs get a job driving for Uber or Lyft. Check this out. With autonomous vehicles that are showing that they're able to reduce accidents due to human error by over 90%. What's going to happen is it is going to be safer to have AI self-driving cars on the road than human beings driving a car. And your children and grandchildren, there's going to be a time where they're going to find it strange that we ever drove cars. They're going to laugh that we drove cars. You guys used to drive cars just like elevators didn't have a button you pressed. You had to have an elevator porter that would control the elevator and stop it at the floor. Now elevators are all automated, and to see an elevator porter controlling the elevator would be strange to see now because elevators have been automated. The whole transportation industry is about to have a complete makeover where there will be no transportation jobs. You're going to, right now in China, they've got trucks that are delivering. Amazon is getting trucks that deliver, drones that deliver without human intervention. Cabs, taxis now with the robo-taxis are going to be delivering human beings where there's no longer going to be a driver because guess what? Uber isn't going to want to have to share money with their drivers. So for Uber to stay profitable, they're going to not hire drivers anymore and have AI doing it. So now that the operational expenses have gone down and the accuracy of driving without accidents has actually increased, where it's going to be, and I'm telling you all this right now because the best way to be an investor is being able to accurately predict the future. What's going to happen, I'm going to tell you all this, and mark my word, it will be illegal for human beings to drive a car because they're going to figure out that it is more dangerous and more likely for a human being to cause an accident driving a car than a self-driving vehicle. So therefore, why would you have a human being drive a car if it's going to increase accident?
Right, and they got the numbers.
They have the numbers.
The margin,
the numbers,
right, and even the margin of error in a medical institution, when you broke down the third leading cause of death is at the hand of the doctors.
Yes, and check this out. The way that you're able to track whether something is going to be viable in the market is through the insurance industry. What do I mean by that? It's going to be a time where medical malpractice for hospitals will be cheaper if you're using AI robots than when you're using human beings. It's going to be a time where having a self-driving vehicle where the insurance costs are going to be cheaper than if a human being is driving, because the actuarial science is going to say there's a higher risk for accidents when a human being is driving a car. So therefore, to cut down on insurance claims, we're going to make it more expensive for a human-driven car in terms of insurance premiums. This is what's going to happen. And I'm sure there's going to be laws passed in the next few years where it's going to be illegal for human beings to drive. So what does that mean? That means that the trillion-dollar industry of people who drive trucks, the income of people who drive Ubers and Lyfts and delivery and cargo is going to be completely gone as an economy. You won't be able to get a job in that anymore. Right now, airplane pilots pretty much are there for show. Most airplanes are completely automated. The only thing the pilots are kind of there for is the landing if there's any problem. But once that plane takes flight and it hits escape velocity, everything is automated for a lot of people who don't know. The plane is flying itself. You're not going to have drivers anymore. So what does that mean if there's going to be no more doctors? Because right now you can get a scan, a CAT scan, an MRI, and you can run it through Grok, and Grok will tell you what's going on with you. You can get your blood test results and run it through Grok, and Grok will be able to tell you, what's going on with your health.
You could run a contract through Claude, a legal contract, 100 pages. You could run your taxes but you literally could run a legal document through Claude and Grok and get all your answers.
All your
right there.
answers.
Yeah,
So
I'm,
then
I'm
what
glad you
happens?
I'm glad you brought that up,
Yeah.
Brother Redfield. I want to give a caveat on that though. If you using these LLM for your personal information or anybody else, you got to be aware and protect the privacy and confidentiality of yourself and others out there. So you might want to get the enterprise version, which may give you that. So you don't want to get the free version, which may share your information, and others or may get some of your personal information. So protect yourself on these. And another thing, you cannot totally rely on these LLMs. They
Of
in the
course
industry
not.
they call it hallucination, and they tell you themselves you may want to check us for errors. So if you're
Right,
producing documents out there, you may want to review your documents, check for errors, and you can rerun it again on another LLM, and that will produce something different or may correct your errors. So be
right,
careful out there with personal information, confidentiality, and so you can protect yourself and others using these LLMs.
right. Once again, um, I recommend. I second that emotion. I second that motion. I recommend that when you doing business, ladies and gentlemen, you take your business serious, and you have to put in time. You have to put in hours. You have to put in research. You have to treat the AI like a co-pilot, the same way that you would treat anything. Humans have a large error of a large error of large margin of error when it
Right.
comes to them hallucinating. I
That's right.
cannot tell you how many people hallucinate
Right.
in front of me on a daily basis, how
Right.
many people are in my Facebook inbox sending me videos from 8 years ago, sending me videos that make no sense, trying to trauma bond with me. They hallucinate more than the LLM. I
You may
recommend
be
you
right.
have professionals inside of the AI space. The AI space is for professionals only. This is not something that somebody from the corner store could just pick up and start talking about. We should only listen to people that are actually accredited and certified at this point, because they are the ones that are going to help walk you through. They know how to set up frameworks. They know how to set up they know how to have the LLMs check one another. You know what I'm saying? But once again, the margin of error for human beings greatly outweigh the margin of error for the AI that sometimes hallucinates based off of how people set the LLMs up. Because to be honest with you, you should be using a RAG like Notebook LM, especially when it comes to specific information, because LLMs are trained on the entire internet. They're only specific. They're bound to hallucinate. Um,
Yeah, absolutely.
Enterprise,
And here's the,
real quick.
yeah,
Make sure your business is an enterprise business. That's what I was saying earlier. If you're
Right.
going to get into
That's right.
business, don't get into hustling and try to get into AI. Get into business, become an LLC. You have to have a business email for even some of these companies, because they won't even talk to you if you don't have a
Right.
business email. Get an enterprise plan. Don't penny pinch,
Right.
because when you get the enterprise plan, the algorithm of the AI is going to work with you more. They're going to give you
Mhm.
more access. You're going to have more GPU time than you will as a free user, because in a free economy, it's always bottom tier.
Right.
right.
That's it.
So I mean, the hallucination piece that I want to say is this, like, integrates what Brother Red Pill was saying, is that, so if you have, like, let's say you have a law firm and you've got AI doing your documents for you, as the managing partner of the law firm, you have to sign off on the documents. You have to look them over. So even if you had junior associates, they make errors too. So you have to, be able to curate that. So there's a curation workflow that happens that you're going to use for AI. But what I'm telling you right now is that, like, in terms of teachers, professors, I think that industry is going to a lot of it's going to go away. And why am I saying that? So in the last few months, I've taken an interest in mathematical physics, and I've spent hours upon hours on Grok learning mathematical physics just as a spare time hobby. And the amount of insight that I've gotten when I think back to when I used to study physics in university, what I learned in Grok within probably 3 hours, outpaced everything that I learned in a whole semester of physics class. Like really and truly, like the philosophical underpinnings of E equals mc squared, where light as a constant is squared, and what that means in relation to energy and matter, and that matter is energy over the speed of light squared, and why would matter have anything to do with energy and the speed of light? And I'm asking these questions, and I'm getting a whole lot of insight where I'm understanding equations from a theoretical and philosophical point of view, because anybody who studies high-level mathematics, the symbols tell a story. So once you start understanding the story behind the symbols, what mass is that mass involves energy and the speed of light. Why is the speed of light squared? Because we're living in dimensions. And so what AI is able to do in terms of quick advancement of understanding and quick advancement of accomplishment of tasks is unparalleled, where we're moving into a new world, y'all. And those who are unprepared will become the slaves. Anytime you have a people who are unprepared become the slaves. And so what happens with this new slavery? And I'm just telling you all, whether you all agree with me or not, I'm just telling you what's going to happen. Just like I told people about electric vehicles are going to take over internal combustion vehicles. I told people about Bitcoin. A lot of people hated me for talking about Bitcoin. Is this the mark of the beast and this and that? When Bitcoin was $100, now it's close to 100,000. And it's because I'm able to see trends, right? When I'm telling you that they're going to pass laws where driving a human being driving a car is going to become commonplace in the law, just watch, wait till it happens. It's going to be financially unviable to have a car for human beings to drive, because insurance companies are not going to insure those vehicles. They're going to insure vehicles without steering wheels in the next coming years. I'm telling you all this, whether you agree with me or not, just wait and see if I'm right. But what you have to do at this time is you're going to make a decision whether you're going to be a business owner who completely leverages AI for product development and for service development, or you're just going to be a consumer and a worker. And guess what happens for consumers and workers? Well, you won't be getting jobs, because it will be fiduciarily irresponsible for a company to hire a human being, especially when AI can do it for cheaper and faster. That's just the reality. Okay, you know what's going to happen? Governments are going to have to come up with universal basic income. This is just what it is. I didn't create it, the system. I'm just telling you what's going to happen. Universal basic income is when the government is going to cut a check to everyone just for existing. They'll figure out a number, maybe 30,000, 40,000, you'll get that. But what's going to come along with that, because no one's going to be employed except for the people who own businesses. There'll be no labor force. Human labor is going to be displaced. I talk about this all the time when we have these conversations. It freaks people out. But if someone tells you that the hurricane is coming, don't just be freaked out or upset and disagree with what the person's saying, particularly if that person has a track record of telling you about hurricanes coming and being correct about it. I need people to listen carefully. Those of you who disagree with what I'm saying and all that, what I want you to do is start doing a proper assessment on your predictive qualities. In terms of the major things that have happened in the last 20 years, how well were you able to predict these things and capitalize off of it? And if you haven't been able to capitalize off of your predictive powers, then you might want to listen to what I'm saying to you, because I have a record. I've been making Facebook posts since 2010 and 11 about Bitcoin, when Bitcoin was under $100, and I was able to buy a lot of Bitcoin under $100. I told people to invest in Tesla in 2015 because I knew the electric cars were just more value than an internal combustion vehicle. There's other people. I'm not the only one. So I'm not here tooting my own horn. I'm just telling you that you might want to suspend your emotions and just listen to a person who's telling you that the hurricane is coming, and they were correct on the path of this hurricane for the last 10, 15, 20 years. A hurricane is coming, y'all. Don't get mad at me for reading the weather report. the best thing to do is understand how to protect yourself from the hurricane. How do you build a house to protect yourself from the hurricane? And this is what this conversation is about. And it's led here, and it has to go in this direction. You're going to have universal basic income, people, because there will be no employment for human beings, because it will be too expensive and too inefficient to hire human beings. And business owners are looking for low expenses and more profit and more efficiency. Just like the job hires someone with more experience who's going to be able to produce faster for a cheaper amount of money. You know, a basketball team will get rid of a contract of a non-producing athlete, a basketball player who has a $200 million contract. They would rather have someone with a $50 million contract that produces more numbers. This is just how it works, y'all. And so what I'm telling you is that it will be completely financially, fiduciarily irresponsible for a company to hire a human being in the next coming years, because human beings are going to be more expensive and less efficient. So if you know that, how do you prepare yourself? Because the only alternative is universal basic income, where you'll be having a capped amount of money that the government provides you, which means that if the government is providing you money, the government can take it away from you when you become a persona non grata. You say something the government doesn't like Facebook, YouTube, they'll take you off and penalize you. This is what we're looking at, particularly for industrial society. And the only people who are going to be exempt from universal basic income are value creators, which means that it is your duty as a parent to teach your children how to become creators, value creators, in whatever time they live in whatever environment they live in. Your children are going to have to be engineers, prompt engineers, understand AI and how to deliver value into the marketplace. Those are the only class of people who are going to be exempt from universal basic income. And those will be those people who have that dopamine addiction to creating something from nothing. If you're somebody who does not have that dopamine addiction, you better get it, because you will be subjected to universal basic income, which is basically government money. This is just what I'm telling you all. And this is not like whether you like it, you don't like it, it doesn't feel good. I'm telling you that the hurricane is coming, and really the winds are already here. The winds are already here, y'all. And the purpose of this show is to prepare you in the steps that I'm taking, the steps that Brother Phil is taking, the steps that Brother Anthony's taking. All of us are taking steps to leverage this new technology for our benefit. Those people who didn't leverage the internet for their benefit, where are they now? Those people who stayed with horse and buggies instead of the automobile, where are they now? It's very important. So, very quickly, we've been on long, and we probably have to get into this next week, or I might have a special session on Heru Trades on my website. We might announce that maybe sometime this week if enough people are interested to go over the financial markets and what's happening. What I will tell you is this. Because of this so-called ceasefire, the markets went up. Because they're saying, oh, no more doom and gloom. We can now operate, so oil prices went down, and you'll see the price of equity stocks go up. You'll see it across the board. I could even share with you, I could share with you some numbers that I got from the stocks that I'm holding and the options contracts that I have.
Please do, my brother. Please do.
All right. I'm going to share one or two, man. I'm going to share one or two. There's no way for me to share this with y'all without y'all getting into my pockets, but I will do it for the audience real quick. And then, we're going to move to herutrades.com, my website, next week, because I'm not trying to share this information on Facebook or YouTube. They don't deserve it. They don't deserve it, but we're going to give it a week leeway for us to get all of this together. Okay.
Right. And for my KT aliens, scan the QR code that I have on the screen. That will bring you directly to the Patreon. The Patreon and the KTL University website. I'm using that as a bridge. If you are interested in this news, if you're interested in this topic, if you're interested in teachings like this, ladies and gentlemen, health and wealth, kinetic knowledge, I'm going to need you to begin to move over to Patreon, move over to KTL University. Like the good brother said, this is only the public square where we let you guys know what's going on and we speak to you in the public. Private conversations are not to be had in the public. When we speak about our health and when we speak about levels of our wealth, no one should be having that conversation in public, not just us. No one should be having. There's private conversations and then there's public conversations. When we start to really go in, it's going to be behind a paywall. It is going to be behind Patreon, or it's going to be on our personal websites in our territory, our quote unquote on our land. So we could say what we want to say, do what we want to do, and have the type of conversations where we don't have, because I told a good brother, I am not by any means going to ever in my life tell you to censor your speech. I'm not about to censor my speech. I'm not about to talk in codes. I'm not about to come up with code words. None of that. We want to be authentically ourselves and operate on a level of freedom and on a level of personal sovereignty with our message and with our demonstration. So, ladies and gentlemen, work with us so we could work with you. This that we're bringing to you, as you can see, the algorithm and the people on this platform, they are intimidated when we're not trauma bonding and when we're not talking about problems and when we're talking about solutions. And that's so good. That's so good. It's anticipated of them.
Absolutely. So, brother Phil, I've just tapped in with my phone so people could look at my Robinhood.
I got you up there.
Okay, so we're going to learn how to work this real quick, y'all. Um, what I want to be able to do is share. So I'm going to share. Okay, audio, edit, stage, you're on the show. I want to be able to share my screen. I'm going to try to do that here. I may need to call in through the app so people can see what's going on with the markets, because I think, a lot of people are interested. And so I'm always wanting to show and prove and show people what this is. So I think I might have to go get on through the StreamYard app. So I'm going to, oh, I am on the StreamYard app.
Yes.
It looks like on the StreamYard app, you're not able to share the screen.
Oh, yes, you're not. It's only through tablet and desktop.
Okay, so let me try to get on again. So let me try to do it another way. Bear with me a moment, people, because we're going to show you what happens with the markets in real time and what those numbers look like. Okay, that says join the chat with everyone. Okay, comment stage. Okay, yes, so you're not able to share the screen. Okay, so what I'm going to do for y'all is I'm going to see if there's a way that I can properly share some of this information with y'all in the market. So, I mean, just very simply, man, I don't expect it to hold. I don't expect the ceasefire to hold because of Israel and how Israel gets down. And the United States gets down. Please understand that in the, what is it, the 200 and something year history of the United States, I think there's only been 10 years that the United States has not been at war. Okay? So war is the business of the United States. And I don't expect a ceasefire to hold. So whatever these prices are, I expect it to probably be temporary. But the markets did react. And they reacted very violently because what they're saying is hey, we are going to be back in business. Everything's going to be normal again. The price of energy is going to be stabilized, and now we can all make money again. So I believe that this is going to be short-lived, and so the price of oil, I believe, in the long term is going to keep going up, because I don't believe that the United States has the appetite for peace. I don't believe that Donald Trump, I don't believe that the war hawks, Pete Hegseth, and the Israeli advisors that the United States government has actually has the appetite for peace. There is a plan for greater Israel, and they're the ones who fund the campaigns for most of your politicians who create these policies. That's why the only thing that the Democrats and Republicans can agree on is Israel. That's why when Netanyahu comes, he gets the full floor of the Senate and the Congress, and they all give him standing ovations, irrespective of what political party that he's a part of. So that they're a part of. So we all know the influence of the Zionist lobby. This is not like speculation. It's very clear. What is going to happen is that there may be some periods of cessation of hostilities, let's call it. However, I expect that there's going to be very serious warfare for the next couple months and years to come with Iran. Okay, so I think that this is temporary, but I do not believe that it's going to be permanent. So the rise in the markets is strictly temporary. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just share some stocks with you, and I'm going to show you the difference between investing in a stock and doing an options contract. So we can take something like Intel, and let me see what it looks like on the screen here. Let me notifications. Let me just. I never use Robinhood desktop, so I'm just navigating. I use it as an app on my phone. So I'm just going to just do a couple things to get the navigation correct for you all. I got this looking the way it looks. Even I don't know why Robinhood doesn't make the app the standard, because the Robinhood app is actually very, very user friendly. The desktop is not as user friendly, but it's all right. Let's make it happen. Let's go to. I just want to be able to make the theme. Okay, here we go. Dark. All right, we're there. And then let's go to Intel, and I'm going to share my screen so you all can see the difference between a stock rising and an option rising. And I'll have to explain to you all what options are. And I don't like to get into my money, but I will do this real quick for you all to show you all that this is real. Okay. All right. Check this out. So, then I'm going to explain to you all what an option is. Okay. So I'm going to show you my investment in Intel. So Intel does computer chips and is involved in AI. And so because I know where things are going, right? I know that AI is going to be the technology that is going to rise, or any businesses that have to do with AI are going to get the market share of appreciation in asset strength. Just like, so the way I want you all to think about this is just like, Brother Phil, you can make this, you can share the screen. I want you all to see this. All right, I'm only doing this for y'all. Next week it'll be taken to my website, Herald Trades, and we'll be doing these types of exercises and things to show you what's going on. So this is Excel for today. If you want to see it better, just maximize the screen. So, I mean, this is Intel. So Intel computer chip company dealing with AI. Today, it has risen in value by 6.2%. Can you all see that? Are you able to see that, Phil?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is Brother
And
Anthony still on?
Telgo. Mm-hmm.
Is Brother Anthony still on?
Yeah, we can.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
All right.
We can see
All right. You see that in just one day, if you'd have invested in Intel, you'd have made 6% on your money. In 1 week, you'd have made 27% on your money. In 1 month, you'd have made 30% on your money. Okay? These are the type of numbers that we're seeing. In 1 year, investing in Intel, you'd have made 180% on your money, which is 2.8x. Compare that to put your money in the bank, which is 0.01%. Okay? So that means that if you'd invested $1,000, you would now have $3,800 by just putting your money in Intel and letting it sit there for a year. Okay? I'm not making these numbers up. Do you all see these numbers? Okay? Let's go back to the day. 1 day, 6% was made from just buying stock in Intel and just holding it for 24 hours. However, I have options contracts on Intel. Let me show you. Options makes you exponentially more money. And I'll explain what options is, but I just want you all to see some of these numbers. I'm just going to give you an example, and I don't want y'all to get all in my pockets and all, but I have to do this to show you all this. Okay, so I bought 2 options contracts. Look at, can you read what my total return is? Can anyone, can Brother Phil, Brother Anthony, can you just read to the audience, what is my total return on this contract, on my options?
248%.
Yes.
Total return. Yeah, total return. Yeah.
Okay. I bought these contracts a month ago. Okay. Now, I've made $5,000 profit on this contract, but I've made 3.5 times my profit. That's what this represents. So basically, I spent about $1,500 on this contract, and my profit is $5,000 so far. They don't expire until September and January. But what's more important is today. Today's return. Can you read what my return is today? Can you all? Can someone read it?
Yeah, that's $1,561.
Yes.
That's on today. You mean
That's
like
just today?
Since, you mean like since the sun came up today?
Since the market opened at 9:30 p.m.
Wow.
In the last hour and a half, I've made 26% on my money in 1 hour and a half, which equals $1,500. Now, I want you to compare that to if I would have held the stock for 24 hours, I'd have made 6.8%. You all see that? So if I just bought the stock, I would have had a 6.8% in my investment. But if I did an option and I know what I'm doing, I make 26%.
Right.
So the difference is 5 times, almost 5 times the value, 4 times the value. And probably by the end of the day, we'll be closer to 40% that I made, which would probably bring me to closer to $3,000 for the day. So while I'm having this conversation with you all, and that's just Intel, right? And I'm going to stop sharing the screen. And this is what it's like for different things that I'm in, right? I'm going to stop. I mean, I can go example after example, but I just don't want everyone all up in my pockets. Okay. But I'm just giving you all an example of what my day looks like. So I'm going to stop sharing. So what happens is that when I'm on with you all talking business and talking what I'm talking, I'm making money at the same time. So what I've done is I've been able to figure out how to make my money without spending my time.
Right.
Do you all understand?
Clearly.
So this is the point. And what we'll be doing week after week, we'll always have these types of conversations, and I'm going to show you all. Like, I don't want you all to think, can we have the other view, Phil, where you have us three lined up? The I don't want you all to think that I'm just talking theory. So when I'm on here with you all, please understand that on my phone, I'm getting orders for the products that I have, and I'm also making money with the investments that I have. So I'm making what you call passive. I'm dealing with passive wealth creation. It allows me to start different businesses on different continents. It allows me to have time with my family. It allows me to work out. It allows me to travel. It allows me to sleep and wake up whenever I want. And I would want this lifestyle for everybody. Like I'd want everyone to have this lifestyle. And the point of the matter is that once you understand this, and I've developed my own strategies and techniques, I'm just sharing it with you all. By no means am I saying that what I do is the only way to do it. So I'm never going to tell you I've got all the answers and I'm the only person. No, but what I am going to tell you is that I've solved some things for myself, and I'm happy to share with you how I did it. Right. And I'm happy to do it for free. It's no problem because I don't lose any money by telling you what I do. Now, as we transition to the end of the show, because really we're supposed to just do an hour, and we've given you over 2 hours of real ism. Like we're giving you ism, and I'm not just going to be here saying, hey, do this, buy this stock and this and that. No, I have to give you a world view and an understanding of why I do what I do. Because a lot of people say, don't tell me about this, just tell me what stock to buy. And there's people like that. But what happens is that you don't learn how to do this. And you don't learn how to think about this. And then you end up invariably becoming dependent on me. And the last thing that you want when you are a truly empowered person is to become dependent on another human being. So I don't want you dependent on me. Yes, I have Hero Trades where you can follow my trades for people who just want to follow my trades and do a subscription. To me, that's less important than you learning what I'm doing and what I'm teaching on the show. Because if you learn why I do what I do, then you're able to even advance what I'm doing by using your own techniques or using your own God-given intelligence to figure this out. But if you understand that, hey, I need to do wealth creation. There are 3 avenues to wealth creation. Which avenue requires the least amount of time for me? This is the way that I should go. Now I'm going to go hard on this. And if it's going to be a service I want to do, I'm going to learn how to implement AI, because that's the only way I can be competitive with other people who are offering the same service, who are going to be able to offer it for cheaper and quicker delivery time because they're using AI and I'm not. See, these conversations are important for you to be able to set the pathway that you're going to go. That's why I have these conversations with you. I'm not here to just give you instructions and tell you do this like you're robots. I'm giving you a way to think about these things, but I'm also showing you the results. So when I talk about health, I'm able to show you people who've had reversals in different illnesses and document it. When I talk to you about wealth and money creation, I'm able to show you my trades. I'm able to show you my options. Now, I'm going to end with this. Here's what an option is, because a lot of people say, damn, I'd like to do options too. So options can be risky. The first thing that you want to do is you want to invest in a stock. That's less risky because there's no time frame on it. Option has a time frame on it. So what is an option? An option is basically you being able to predict whether a stock price is going up or down within a certain amount of time. So within a month, 2 months, 3 months, and that's the expiration date. And what it is that you pay a premium, which is the ticket. So let me give you an analogy to what an option is, right? In terms of how you're making money from options. Because most people, people will tell you that an option is like you're saying that it's going to go up, but then you pick a price to buy that option at. So let's just say that the price of the stock is $100 now, and you're saying that, you know, a year from now, that option is going to go up. I mean, the stock is going to go up, and maybe it'll be $120. So you want to be able to buy the stock at maybe today's price later in the future. So you'd put in a bid for $100, and the bid has a certain premium price. And that bid price is what I call the ticket to get into the game, right? So you buy that and you pay for that ticket. And if you're right, you can assign, there's two ways that you can make money. You can get that stock at $100 and now it's $120. So now you've made 20% profit on the stock, or you can resell the ticket to get into that game, because the ticket gets valuable the more right that you are. Okay. So the way you really make money in options is reselling the ticket. So what are we in the business of in options? I need people to understand this from a conceptual point of view. What we are doing in options is we're buying tickets to a Michael Jackson concert before Thriller has been released. We know Thriller is about to be released by different factors in the news or looking in the charts, whatever, but let's just say that we know Thriller is about to be released, but they're selling Michael Jackson tickets before the album is released. The album's not released, so the tickets for a Michael Jackson concert that might be like you're buying a ticket in, let's say, April today for a Michael Jackson concert that's going to happen next year, January. But you know that between today and January 2027, Michael Jackson is going to release an album called Thriller. And you know that this album is going to be a big album that's going to take the value of those tickets up exponentially. So you buy the ticket today for $20, and you know that Michael Jackson next month is about to release Thriller, and you have the concert ticket for January, and you know that that $20 ticket for the entry into the Michael Jackson concert is now going to be worth $2,000 later on. This is what we do in the options market. We are predicting that this company is about to release a Thriller album, and we want to buy a ticket before the price goes up. And after the price goes up, we want to resell that ticket, which is selling the option, for a higher price. And that's how I make money in options. And so what you saw, the increase in the price, is that I bought those tickets to Intel stock for $1,000. And now the tickets are worth $6,000. So now I can sell it for $6,000 and make a $5,000 profit. That's what you saw in the plus that you saw, the increase in the price, where I made $5,000 profit for the life of the contract. And I made, $1,500 just for today because the price of Intel has gone up. So I'm selling the ticket to the show. That's what an option is. No one's going to explain it to you this way, but this is the way that I've come to understand it. And it becomes easy for people to understand. Or you could just buy the stock in Michael Jackson. But the stock in Michael Jackson is going to rise slower than the price of the ticket to his concert. You get what I'm saying, y'all? So what I'm doing is that activity, and I find it to be lucrative because I make more money selling options, buying and selling options, than I do, with stocks. I made great money with stocks, but I'm always looking to maximize my money and to minimize my time that I'm spending doing it. So options allows me to do that. So that's why I do it. You saw the numbers. I showed you the numbers of what it looks like for a stock increase for the day, which was 6%, but my options increase was 25, and right now it's at 32%. So as we're talking, I've made more money. So this is the way that we do it. I'll show you all the techniques. I'll show you all how to, what you all could do. The best thing you could do right now, if you don't, is just sign up for Robinhood, download it on your phone, and it's free. The app is free, and then you can fund it like you fund your Cash App account. You attach it to your bank account. You start with $100. And if you don't want to do options because it's riskier, you can just buy stocks and hold the stocks. So all the ups and downs between a month or two don't matter because you're holding it until the price goes up. And I'm telling you all that the way that the world is going, whether you like it or not, if you want to increase the economic position of your family And the answer is yes. If the answer is no, don't listen to anything I'm saying. And then you can just say, I hate AI. I hate where things are going. I don't want to participate. And I don't want to increase the financial standing of my family. That's fine. That's your right. But those of us who do want to increase the financial standing of our families, we're using the trends of what's happening to understand that the horse and buggy is transitioning over to the automobile. And what we're going to do is we're going to invest in the automobile business and divest from the horse and buggy business, because we want to be able to put our families in a better place. And there's people who would say horse and buggies for the world. Like, I'm living and dying with horse and buggies, and I'm going to curse everyone who's into automobiles.
Right.
That's fine. You can be that person. You can be that person. And so you stay with your horse and buggies. But if someone understands that I'm not partial to horse and buggies or cars, I just know that the transportation industry is going to increase in technology over time. And the new technology is automobiles. And so what I'm telling you to do is I'm teaching you to identify, in these conversations, we get into this type of investing, how to identify the transition between horse and buggies to automobiles in all different types of ways. That's all I'm doing. That's the metaphor. If you want to stay with your horse and buggies, that's fine. But understand that automobiles are about to happen. And if you want to make money, you would invest in automobile factories and automobile companies. And so pretend that you're in the 1920s and you have a choice as to whether you want to keep your money and fall in love and stay in love with horse and buggies, or you want to invest your money into the automobile industry and make 10 times your income, or 100 times your income, or 1,000 times your income. If your answer is you're interested in investing in automobiles in 1920, as opposed to staying with horse and buggies, then this is the conversation for you. See, I'm not here to like force anyone into any conversation or debate anybody. Like, you're right. If you want to stay with the horse and buggies, you're right. Do that. But if you're interested in capitalizing off of what's happening with the new automobiles that are being invented, then this conversation's for you. And this is how you could make money off of that. So me and Red Pill and Brother Anthony Muhammad, we're not here to argue with you about your values and what you think is like the right thing to do. Do what you think is the right thing. But what we're going to do is we're going to notice what the trends are, look at the future, and be able to capitalize off that for the benefit of our families. So I could either work a 9 to 5. So let's just say I was working now. You all just saw, I'm not making it up, you all just saw between 9:30 and 11 o'clock, an hour and a half, I made $1,500 off of one play. Now, if I was working a 9 to 5 that was paying me $40 an hour, the question is, how many hours would Heru have to work to make that same $1,500? So what we're going to do is basic math. 1,500 divided by 40. I would have to work 37.5 hours, which is a whole week, at a $40 per hour gig. So I've lost a whole week of time, a whole 37 hours, when I could have just did a play with Intel and made the same amount of money. What would you rather have? This is the conversation that we're not having, that people are having, because people want to debate and people want to argue things from a place without looking at numbers. Numbers rule the world, y'all. And if someone is having conversations with you and there's no numbers involved, everything is just opinion. So you have choices in life. You either going to work a $40 per hour job, which is considered a good paying job. Most people getting paid $20 an hour. So if we did $20 an hour, you're working 2 weeks to make what was just made on an Intel play in an hour and a half. And when you start putting it that way, people say, I would rather do what you're doing. But this opportunity and this reality hasn't been presented to you. And you just happen to tune in for free to these channels, and you're getting this information. The choice is yours, what you want to do with it. But I'm telling you why the wealthy stay wealthy and how they stay wealthy and why they're on the beach all the time. And I'm on the beach with them. And you're slaving away at a job with people you don't like, because the only way that you've been told to make money is to be a wage employee. an hourly wage employee. And what I'm saying is that there's more to life than selling your time, because that means that you don't have your time for yourself. Okay? And you can start with as little as $50 when it comes to investing. $10 actually. Even Bitcoin, you can buy Bitcoin for $10. You can buy a stock for $10, which is called fractional shares. So you can't say this is just for wealthy people. You can get in investing with $10. The only thing stopping you is yourself and your ability to find information, absorb it, and execute, which is what I call kinetic knowledge. I showed you, if you just put your money in Intel, which is just literally going on there, putting $100 in your Robinhood account that's attached to your bank account, and buying whatever the equivalent of $100 of Intel stock is, and just folding your arms and sitting there for a year, you'd have made triple your money. This is the reality. I just showed you that. And if we know where the world is going with AI, you're either going to become a victim of it, or you're going to be someone who leverages it. Decide who you are and decide who you want your children to be. Over here in my house, where we're dealing with Marcus Garvey rules, which is about empowerment and self-sufficiency, we're looking for every single way that we can advance our position, where everyone is in an economy that's trillions of dollars and we're not even getting a piece of that pie. And we're looking for it to develop our people. I have other initiatives too that I'm going to discuss as time goes on. It's going to blow a lot of people away around engineering and manufacturing, because it's not just about accumulating capital. It's about actually controlling everything that you need by making everything that you need. I'm going to talk about that and how your children can get involved. We're going to be doing 3D printing. We're going to be doing reverse engineering. We're going to be making iPhones by taking them apart. And we're going to be doing a lot of things in this new platform that I'm putting together, because capital is just not to have capital, it's to be deployed. And I was able to, with my Tesla stock earnings, I was able to start a construction company in Africa because I invested in Tesla. That money I invested in Tesla grew so much that I was able to use some of it to start a construction company in Ghana and build water catchment, cisterns, where now the catchment systems that I use in that neighborhood is used whenever it rains. People in the neighborhood get free water because of my Tesla investment. So I was able to use my money to change people's lives in Africa by having different alternatives for water. Same thing can happen anywhere you are. So it's up to you what you want to do with the capital that you've gained with this knowledge that you're getting. Some of y'all are going to go ahead and buy Lamborghinis. Me, I'm going to buy factories. That's just the reality. But the choice is yours. Please understand that I don't want your money. I don't need your money. This is, we've been hurt too much as a people by people who are scamming. Even with Heru Trades, people have asked me to sign up with Heru Trades, and I tell them if they don't have any experience, like you've never had a Robinhood account, you've never had a trading account, you've never had a Forex account, I tell them, do not trade. Do not sign up. I don't want your money, because you need to know the basics before you follow what I'm doing. So I don't want your money. I don't want you to sign up if you're a newbie. If you're a newbie, you're going to need to start an account, learn how to even press buy for a stock. You know what I'm saying? You'll be wasting money giving me a monthly subscription of $300 a month to follow my trades when you don't even know how to execute a trade, right? This is the point. And then if you start making money and what I'm saying turns out to be true for you, you just keep doing it. And if it doesn't work, you ignore me. But I'm here to show you the results of what I'm talking about. Very few people is going to open up their Robinhood account and show you an active trade in the money in what they got. I'm doing it because I know it's necessary for people to take what a person's saying seriously, because I could be a charlatan. Okay. So what I'm saying is that for me, I am also invested. So for the investments that I have, I'm invested in land in the Caribbean. I'm invested in the stock market in the United States, the stock market in Africa, because Africa has a stock market as well. I have businesses in Africa. I have a construction company in Africa. I'm looking to put up a factory in Africa. I'm putting up an engineering school, an online engineering school uh, for the world. You know what I'm saying? And one of our facilities, in terms of our fabrication facility, is going to be in Texas. So what's going to happen is that the children really, because the fabrication facility is going to be in Texas with a brother of mine named Ken Eccles, who's an engineer. What we're going to do is that the children who go through our reverse engineering program are going to finish up their practicals in Texas. And we're going to put up factories in Texas as well, so that the children who graduate from our engineering curriculum, which is level 1 reverse engineering, level 2 innovation improvement, and level 3 invention, and then within that is going to be manufacturing. So what happens is we're going to have a pipeline for students, particularly those who go through the Texas facility, and they will be hired as the engineers for our manufacturing facilities, where we'll be able to manufacture everything that we need through reverse engineering, whether it comes to phones or, water pumps. And we're going to replicate this in America. We're going to replicate it in the Caribbean. We're going to replicate it in Africa. Africa is going to be the foundation of most of these manufacturing sites, because most of the raw materials for the world come from Africa. So you want to have your manufacturing sites as close to the raw materials as possible. But we will be starting our facility, our engineering facility in Texas. And I'm going to give you all some, and hiring people, you know what I mean? And so what's going to happen is that your kids will be able to sign up for our curriculum. We get a 3D printer. We'll teach them how to use the 3D printers, use AI and design and all of that. And this is what we're going to be doing, because we have to solve our problems. I'm not a nationalist of any country. I'm not here to talk about the division of Black people based on national boundaries set by white men.
Right.
I'm a Black universalist. And so wherever our people are found, I'm going to bring value to our people. And so I make no distinctions of Black people, whether you are from Harlem or whether you're from Alabama or whether you're from Nairobi or Lagos, whatever. So I want that to be clear with people, because there is this penchant of a group, some parts of our people, to seek division, right? Where they've never saw an opportunity to be divided that they didn't like. And I'm just letting people know that I'm not here to argue your national identity. If you're Black, I'm down to work with you. I don't care where you're from. I don't care what religion you believe in. We have a problem to solve. And we can do a special show just to talk about what I'm doing around engineering and unity, and actually creating a theology around that and a spirituality around that. So that's a whole special show that I think you'll love once I work everything out. But please understand that for me, the accumulation of capital is not for me to hoard the capital or to buy Lamborghinis or anything. It's actually, for me, my goal is to build factories around the world that employ Black people, and for us to make every single thing that we need around the world, whether it be Brazil, whether it be Colombia, where, you saw Black folks in Colombia where you were there. There's a whole section of Black folks in Colombia.
Yeah. Shout out to them.
They just happen to speak Spanish. And so I'm not into this like colonial division by whoever conquered us. We all got the same guy's foot on our neck, and we on the floor with the foot on our neck arguing with each other. It just makes no sense to me. And so we're not playing any of those games. We're not spending any time in those types of arguments and games people want to do. We are creating, and if you want to play those division games, please go somewhere else, because this is not the conversation for you. We're talking about investing, we're talking about engineering, and we're talking about unity, and we're talking about power and strength globally. That's what we're doing. That's what I'm about. And if you're about something else, do your own platform. I don't care. I'm not here to argue with you all. I'm not here to parse words with you all. I'm just here to show you all this is what I've done with my life. And if you find my life to be anything that you would like to learn from, I'm here to to tell you all it for free. And I'm always going to show and prove. Always. Everything I say, I'm going to show you what I've done and what the results are. If it was good or bad. And that's it. So we've gone overtime today, but
Yes,
for
keep going.
but for housekeeping, please understand what me and Phil are doing, y'all. There's a master plan to what we're doing. Me and Phil have known each other for probably 15, probably damn near going on 20 years.
20 years almost.
But we have now united our forces. That what we're doing has value for all of our audiences. And what we're going to do is we're going to keep doing this as a show of unity and how brothers who put aside their ego actually can build and create value together, because we're stronger. The hand is stronger when it's together as a
When
fist.
it's a fist.
So,
Super facts.
so this is what we're doing. We're living by example, but also to live by example, we have to be on our own platforms. We can't be doing this from YouTube, and we can't be doing this from Facebook.
Let me show this real
yeah.
quick. I'm gonna pull this up while we talking, because somebody said, "Brother Red, where's the Monday episode?" The Monday episode is in the quote unquote YouTube servers behind a bar right now. They put it in they locked it up. They removed it, and they gave me a warning on my channel. Now, for family that's on the line, they may not be aware of it, but I have a unique position on YouTube, whereas I was given back a channel 2 years later after it was taken from me, actual channel that has been on YouTube for more than 15 years, right? And they snatched it for medical reasons, 3 strikes over the years, and I lost my entire original channel. And miraculously, through the work of paperwork and a lot of positive affirmations, it was handed back to me. So now with this fresh slate, I'm dealing with a new level of strikes where they are now targeting the channel again based off of us just speaking our truth, ladies and gentlemen. The QR code that we have in the upper left corner is for you in the audience. If you respect, you don't have to like what we're doing. If you respect what we're doing, it doesn't matter what level of life that you are in at the moment. Do not look at your level of life and sum up your whole experience as that. Look at the future and you moving forward based off of tapping into kinetic consciousness and kinetic knowledge, where this brother's going to change. He's going to change your life. He's showing you that his life has changed. Scan the QR code and sign up to the Patreon. This is not this is a request, right? Conversations that we're having on Mondays will not be had on this channel based off of the fact that we are not going to lose the channel. Those conversations will be had in a private space. This is your opportunity to be a part of that conversation. People are I don't want to get harassed with emails. I don't want, you know what I mean? Because I have a lot going on. The word is out. Me and his good brother, it's even going to make us do more work. It's going to make us turn up the work and even do it even harder. But if I don't get support from the people, if it's not reciprocated, men lie, numbers lie, men lie, women lie, numbers don't. I could read my numbers. I'll be able to read the analytics. What was the response? Oh, 2 or 3 people. All right, let's just pull the plug. I'm gonna let you do what you got to do, my brother. I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing, because what I'm not about to do when they put pressure on me is I'm not about to not gonna get the support from my people when I'm showing you that we're being targeted, we're being attacked, we're being censored. Our First Amendment rights are being taken from us. And for those that were in attendance, all we were doing was giving the unadulterated truth. That Monday's Help episode was so powerful. It was literally a medical book in and of itself. The brother was breaking it down. So I know why they were so mad. I know why the algorithm and the Sentinels went after that show. Ladies and gentlemen, support those who support you. And I'm gonna keep it 1,000. I wish if we didn't have I get 1% support on this channel. 1%, right? Maybe 0.1%. And that's cool because based off of how they say it's supposed to be, 2%, you're winning. That's horrible, ladies and gentlemen. That's horrible. That's sad. That is sad. And it just speaks to the condition of our people, to where they will use you and abuse you and throw you away, even when you under fire. And I don't want nobody to feel like that's personal. But as you sit there and you don't reciprocate and you don't put in no work and you just take, I'm letting you know that we see you and we're not feeling that. And you, before you talk about, bro, what we gonna do? You got to change your ways first. Don't talk about no white man or with the corporate America. Change your ways. When somebody who been feeding you is saying, yo, leave a tip at the table, y'all dining and dashing. Y'all dining and dashing. Y'all running with the y'all not even leaving a tip. Y'all not even leaving a tip. And we doing 3 hour, 4 hour, 2 hour. Y'all not even leaving a tip, bro. So at the end of the day, that's what Patreon is there for. KTL University is there for. If you show me that y'all are willing to meet us halfway, then we're gonna do more. We are over delivering.
I mean, definitely, we're definitely over delivering.
Over delivering.
But this is necessary because what it is at the end of the day, man, is that our people have been given a lot of wild goose chases, and a lot of people who are great talkers and not producing. So what happens is that we, as a people, have lost the habits of winning. So when you start looking at you want to stop sharing that screen.
Say that again. I like
you,
say
you
that.
want to stop. You want to stop sharing that screen of how YouTube blocked our show. For anybody who wants to see the show, I have it still on my Facebook page. Facebook didn't take it down, but I do have the archives of it where it's recorded into my own archive because I keep the hard drive of everything that I do because I know what these people are and how they're going to block information. And so it's my information, it's Phil's information. And so we keep our own local drive of our intellectual content. And it is not YouTube's responsibility to treat us fairly. And I already realized that. You see, when you spend your time waiting for other people to treat you fairly, you lose agency and you start adopting the traits of learned helplessness because you're waiting for people to treat you fairly when it's actually you not treating yourself and your potential fairly. Right? So what I was saying, Phil, is that we as a people, if we were to look at ourselves as a football team, we've lost the habits and the taste of winning. And so when you start looking at the psychological profile of a winning team versus the psychological profile of a losing team, well, you find out with a losing team, because they haven't won in so long, guess what happens? The losing team football team doesn't trust the quarterback to throw the ball correctly, doesn't trust the running back to run with the ball because he's been fumbling and causing the team to lose. So everyone who's supposed to play their position doesn't believe in the other one next to them who's playing their position. So then this is where you get internal dissension and finger pointing, right? Because what it is they've been losing for so long collectively, globally, as a black people. Everywhere you go, as black people, we're the bottom of the totem pole when it comes to health, wealth, and all of these things that actually matter. In every country you go to, I've had the opportunity to travel in a lot of countries, and you'll see that the other groups of people, so in Africa, you'll see the Indians and the Syrians and Lebanese and the white people controlling a lot of the economy through commerce. You come to America, you see the same thing. You see the health outcomes in terms of black folks with high blood pressure, diabetes, wealth, Section 8 is very high compared to other groups. And so when we take this analysis from a world and a global analysis, we can no longer I can't have a local worldview to say, oh, I'm from Ghana, I'm not going to look at what's going on to the rest of black people in the world, because we start seeing commonalities. And what we start to find out is that this team that we have, let's just call it Team Black. Team Black is going to start to have going to need to start to have victories upon victories to rehabilitate our self sense of being winners. So the way that you develop the psychological profile of a human being is the way that you develop the psychological profile of a group. And now what's very interesting about a psychological condition, call it double personality disorder. I'll just talk very quickly about double personality disorder. So a double personality disorder is when, just take a woman, her name is Keisha, but then she can become Susie, right? She has a personality as Susie. Do you know that when Keisha is Keisha, Keisha has an allergy to peanuts. And if she eats peanuts, she'll start breaking out in hives. But they've seen when Keisha becomes Susie, she can eat peanuts and doesn't break out in hives. It's because the mental understanding and the mental affiliation that you have with yourself
persona, right,
has a physiology that's associated with it. So what happens is that when you have the mental identity of a loser, in other words, a team that's losing, you start adopting certain physiological chemical responses. So that's why you find people who've been losing pointing the fingers at each other, because there's a chemical response that goes along with it. That's why you find like black folks, you know, in America may have Crips and Blood mentality. Black folks in Ghana, Ewe versus Ashanti, you know, Nigeria, Igbo versus, you know, Yoruba, you know, in Chicago is O Block versus everybody, you know, in hip hop is East Coast versus West Coast. Because what happens is that when people have been losing, there's actually a physiological response and a physiological triggering associated with engaging in the behaviors of losing. There's actually a dopamine response. That's why there's people who are quick for division. You'll find that the people who are quick for division are usually people who are losing because they're pointing fingers at each other. But the people who are most about unity are the people who are used to winning, because they understand that the formula for winning requires unity. That's why you have teamwork. Yes, it requires teamwork. This is why empires are built, is the consolidation of unity. And empires are built through force
and teamwork, right? But
yes,
that force is a W, because through the force, the goal is to win something. You have
exactly. The goal is to win. But what we find out, bro, is that when we start looking at empire development in the study of history, people were united through force, not through like conversation and feeling good. So at some point, black folks are going to have to get united, and it may have to be done through force. That's another conversation. But the point that I'm making is that when you look at a psychological profile, like someone who has a narcissistic personality disorder or double personality disorder, you know what they do? They can give you the listings of how to identify narcissistic personality disorder, like someone who thinks the world is about them, someone who has no empathy, someone who, you know, takes no blame for anything, no accountability, all of these types of things, right? So you have a list of how you can identify a personality disorder, right? Or psychological profile. But what's very interesting is that when you look at psychological disorders, the same thing that's part of the list in identifying is also the menu to create someone to be narcissistic, or to create someone to be having a double personality disorder, or someone to have low self-esteem. You can actually look at that list, and if you employ that list and put it on somebody and put them through that type of environment, that person will develop that psychological disability.
Yeah.
And what I'm saying is that there are behavioral aspects of people who've been losing. Look at a losing team and start interviewing the players of the team and the behavioral patterns of these people. And if you want a people to be losing, one of the things you're going to do is get them to quickly point the finger at each other and never take self-accountability. You're going to teach division. You're going to teach the ability to not work with each other. You're going to teach contradiction. You're going to teach ego. These are the things that keep a team from having cohesion and winning. And so what we're saying here at Know the Ledge and what we're doing at Herbal Results and Herbal Trades is that we understand the characteristics in the psychological profile of a winning person and a winning team. And that's what we're going to be about. And the moment that myself or Brother Phil see anyone engaging in losing characteristics, it gets no oxygen over here. Because we can see it from a mile away. And we can see that many people don't even know when it's happening because they're so used to losing, they just naturally engage in that type of behavior.
It's automatic.
It's automatic.
It's almost like locker room banter. You know, you can't come in the locker room talking about winning the trophy, and because there's the relationship, there's no relationship at that point. The trauma bonding, though, in the locker room with the losing team is one of strong camaraderie. You know what I mean? People locking in. Let's smoke, yo. Let's rock. Let's wait for the world to end. Let's hurry up and crash this. I hate it here. That is not the conversation of a champion. Exactly. That is not the breakfast of champions. I despise conversations like that. That means that you don't have no motion and you're not moving at all. You know what I mean? And you know, I can't be in close proximity to losing energy, loser energy, poverty consciousness, weaklings, people that want to tap out. Nah, I'm not attracted to that. I'm not motivated by that. I have too many solutions in my mind. I got too many solutions written down in books to even entertain some type of conversation. Get away from me with that. You know what I mean? Respectfully, go somewhere else, because this you once again, you're out of your pay grade. You are sitting in Balducci's trying to have a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Huh? This is not for you. The way that we're moving and the way that we're pivoting and whatnot, we are speaking to the winners. We are speaking to people who have a champion mentality, and we will repel anybody who has a mentality of lack or any type of quote unquote poverty minded consciousness. You are not welcome here for real, for real. Not even on the conscious platforms or the conscious shows, because we're not even giving you that type of lack conversation when we speak metaphysics and whatnot. So it should be repellent. It should be a repellent. This is the mentality that you should have moving forward. Even when you look at yourself in the mirror, get your circle together. I had to really change the type of energy that I was surrounded by. I don't want to talk to nobody who's not speaking in elevated terms. I'm still purging and I'm still cutting people off, and I'm still I'm not answering calls and answering texts, bro. A lot of people have been blocked. So I'm cleaning my energy up. This channel and this platform is cleaning their energy up. Henceforth, while we have somebody up here who's into they're in kinetic knowledge. I'm not doing smart broke people. You too smart to be broke. It's people who get up here and they could break everything down, but they can't rub two nickels together. Bye, get your shit together, fix your credit, and come back. You know what I mean? I'm not giving. This is not a rest haven for vagabonds. This is not a rest haven for trauma bonders. This is not a rest haven for people who wish to see Iran bomb all of the world so they don't have to pay their goddamn phone bill. I'm good on that.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, and
we're gonna leave it at that. I don't even want to, because we touching 3 hours.
Yeah, we are.
Great build.
Mm-hmm. I want to do one last thing though.
Yes.
People are asking about Monday's show, and if you want to see Monday's show, I'll show you how to see Monday's show. It's been blocked from YouTube, but it's still on Facebook, and I still have it on my Facebook. So, Phil, can you share what I have in the studio right now? I'm just going to show people if they want to see Monday's show. And then Monday's the health show. So if we discuss health, Wednesdays as well. So you just go to my Facebook, which is Heru Ofori Atta. Just go on Facebook and you just scroll down. When you scroll down, you'll scroll down to April 6th, and you'll see the video of the show. You just hit play and you'll get all the information there unadulterated until Facebook takes it down. But for now, it's up. And like I said, from now on, moving forward next week, all of these videos and the property, our property will be on our property. We are no longer going to be renting space with a landlord who doesn't give a damn about us and can be able to shut us down and stop giving our information, life-saving information to our people. We can't have that. We would only be fools and idiots if we were going to tie our horse to that wagon, and that was the only way that you could get information is YouTube or Facebook. We know better than that.
Crazy.
And we're not going to subject ourselves to that. And we're going to show leadership by letting you know that we're going to migrate over to our personal properties and websites in the middle of the shows, enough people to get on. And then we're going to migrate to where we have site control, which will be herutrades.com or herbalresults.net or Know the Ledge University or Sankofa Radio. You'll be able to go there and get comfortable with it. Get comfortable to get life-saving information from websites that are built by us for us, instead of going to other people's websites like YouTube and Facebook and getting this information. It's actually a contradiction. So we're going to resolve that contradiction next week. Get ready. Know the Ledge University. Can you let people know your website? Because I think there's some people who even tune into you on YouTube that don't even know you got a website. Brother Red Pill. I think Red Pill's off.
No. My mic was yeah. So yes, ladies and gentlemen, the ticker below says KTLUniversity.com. KTL University is our official website. We have a library, a cyber library of more than 100 titles, lectures, workshops on KTLUniversity.com. We are incorporating the live stream apparatus on that page. So we'll be able to live stream directly from KTL University, which will save us from all of the sensors, the algorithms, and the pixels and whatnot. We won't have to worry about the Sentinel trying to muffle our speech or censor us. Ladies and gentlemen, tap in, KTLUniversity.com, support the site. We have classic lectures, we have workshops, we have everything that you're looking for over there. And we will have our brother Heru. We will be doing monthly workshops and master classes for the family so we could level up and we could get this information in a constructed manner. Like the brother was saying earlier, moving forward, efficiency is going to become one of the number one things that we're going to realize that businesses are, that is going to be their quote unquote, that's going to be their DNA is all about efficiency. It's always been that, but it's really becoming that. And we're really beginning to see why they're able to fire 30,000 people from a corporation, 20,000, 10,000, 1,000, lay off all of this human quote unquote equity, right? All of these workers, right? Because they have tools that are more efficient than those humans now. And and now they've implemented it. Before it was theory, now it's been implemented. So they have discovered something that I want us to discover. Don't worry about what they're doing. Worry about what you doing. Spend too much time worrying about what they doing, but you're not doing anything, right? So if you spend too much time putting into what they're doing, you don't have enough time to focus on what you're doing and how you could take this and reverse engineer it, and how you could take this whole entire toolbox of all of this new technology and become bigger than the corporation that fired you. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, KTLUniversity.com, click on the QR code above my head right there, and that will bring you to the quote unquote website. I'm gonna click on it right now. If you click on if you wave the QR code, it will take you to KTL University, that site. You can explore the site. You could even leave your email so we could put you on the news list and update you with all of the events. We have events coming up this month. At the in the middle of April, we have a retreat in North Carolina. I just want to throw that flyer up real quick before we get out of here. Let me put that. Oh, let me just play this commercial real quick. This is the 72-hour boot camp, ladies and gentlemen, April the 18th to the 20th. This is going to be taking place in North Carolina. All right. I really encourage everybody who can to be there in the flesh. If you cannot be there in the flesh and you don't have the time to do that, we will be offering a live stream as well. You could go ahead and scan the QR code. I'm going to pull that up, and that's the 72-hour boot camp. That is from April the 18th to the 20th, 420. And that's going to be in Polkton, North Carolina. We will be off grid on melanated land, black owned land, right in North Carolina for 3 days, learning about all things AI, all things Claude, Hermes, all of the new quote unquote agentic AI systems. You will leave there leveled up. I'm gonna play this commercial and we're gonna get up out of here. All right.
If you've been laid off, passed over, or just tired of building somebody else's dream, listen close, because what's happening right now in AI is not a trend, it's a transfer of power, and the window is open. There is a new class of operator emerging. They're not coders, they're not corporations, they're the designers, the visionaries, the builders who finally have a machine that matches their imagination. It's called the Clawbot, and it doesn't just generate ideas, it executes them autonomously, on command, while you sleep. The agentic AI boom is here. Agents that write, build, publish, automate, and operate without hand-holding. And the people learning to command them right now, they're the ones who are going to own the next 5 years, not the ones waiting for a job posting, not the ones watching from the sidelines, the builders, the ones who show up. That's why we built the OpenClaw 72-hour boot camp. 72 hours to go from zero to operator. You'll build your first Clawbot, deploy your first agentic workflow, and walk out with leverage you can monetize immediately. 3 days, real skills, no fluff. The revolution doesn't wait, neither should you. Link is live. Get in where you fit in. The evolution will be digitized.
QR code to take you right to the Eventbrite, ladies and gentlemen. I look forward to seeing you in North Carolina. Peace, love, and light.
If you've been late.
Yes, Brother Heru, do you want to leave him with some words? Okay, my brother is, yes. What's the Cash App? Let me put that on the screen. Later on today, ladies and gentlemen, we will have an episode of WTF Wednesdays. This is Bully Part 2. Look out for that. I'm gonna try to get that 4:44 so we could get an afternoon show going. Look out for the flyer. We'll have it up. Bully Part 2 on WTF Wednesdays. There's so much to talk about, so definitely tap in. I'm gonna go back to studying and putting together this report, putting together this show, and tending to my business and handling my affairs. And I encourage you to do such as well. What a great way to wake up and get to it on this hump day. What a time to be aligned. You feel me? And all of that other good stuff. Shout out to Kafunya in the building. Shout out to all of my KT aliens in the building. Shout out to all of my Patreons, both the new ones and the ones that have been there. Let me just take you on a quick trip. No, I'll show you the Patreon another day. But go and check out the Patreon. It goes all the way back to 2017. We have archived articles, PDFs, lectures, all kind of stuff is on the Patreon. When you become one of the paid members, it opens up to you more. You have perks. We do a workshop every month. This month we have a powerful lecture/workshop coming up. This month we have a few things. You'll have access to the 72-hour boot camp. And also, we're going to be doing a lecture for this month, and we may even have a special guest. So make sure you sign up and be a member. Our membership has privileges, of course. We do offer perks, all right? Buy Me a Coffee is another place which you could tap in. They have perks over there. And of course, the PayPal, the Cash App right here. That's because the channel is not monetized. As you can see, when we putting all of this information out there, we don't even want to do that type of contract with them. So we remain free and whatnot. So we don't have to really get censored. They censor us now, but if we were monetized where they were putting their commercials and their advertisers on the channel, I couldn't even use profanity. I wouldn't even be able to speak as freely as I do. I would not be able to play videos about is it real and stuff like that, because that's when they strike you. That's when they get you. That's when they get in your pocket when they're feeding you peanuts. When they're feeding you peanuts is when they get in your pocket. And when they're not feeding you peanuts, what do? They just take your quote unquote videos down and they send you emails to threaten you. So yeah, with that being said, y'all heard we sent the signal out there. Y'all know what it is. We don't have to say much. You know what I mean? You already know what it is. We're talking about empowerment. As the next few weeks roll over, you will see what empowerment looks like as we will begin to roll out our standalone platforms and tools that will solve all of these problems. I just wanted y'all to see the problem first, right? This is the problem right here. The fact that they don't want us to live. They don't want us to grow. They don't want us to glow. That's the problem. The fact that they taking stuff down and talking about medical misinformation when that brother was given the unadulterated truth. The video will be on my Patreon from the Monday show. You'll be able to hear and you'll be able to see. You'll be able to know why they was tripping and whatnot. It had nothing to do with misinformation. It was too much real information, too much good information. They like, shit, we charge for stuff like that, brother. Hey, we're going to take this down. Y'all giving away too much stuff for free. Yeah, they are intimidated by those of us that are healing. They are intimidated by those of us that are curing. Remember, they locked Dr. Sebi up and told him he cannot tell black people that he can cure them. The fact that he used the word cure is what got him a charge and whatnot. They don't want us to be cured. It's too advantageous for us to be in fear. Look at everybody that got put in fear over this fake war. There's people that got rich. There's people that got wealthy. There's people that was able to play this gambling game and they saw the market manipulation. But then there's other people that got sick. There's other people that got cortisol. There's other people that got poisoning. There's other people that got cramps, headaches, fatigue. There's people that didn't even want to get out the bed because they thought that the world was going to end because they watching CNN and these people stay lying to you for damn near 50 years straight now. Listen. Snap out of that fucking spell. Wake up. You know what I mean? I ain't doing the pity parties. I'm not doing no pity parties. I am not the shoulder to boo-hoo on. I'm not going for none of that right now. Nigga, we at war. I'm in wartime. So we're playing this shit for keeps. I don't come up on this platform to play around. I don't know if people is on playtime. But I'm just letting you know, public service announcement. I am not on playtime. I'm out here putting it all on the line. I sacrifice a lot to do this shit right here. No one man should have all that power. This is not an easy thing to do. I make it look easy, but this is not an easy thing to do. This is heavy lifting. Okay. This is leg day. Every day that we get on this platform, this is leg day. So we got to treat it like that. So because I'm not playing around, I'm not about to let nobody play in my face. So with that being said, peace, love, and light to the family. Y'all stay focused. Y'all stay dangerous. And let's get to the solutions. Wealthy Wednesdays. Wealthy Wednesdays, y'all. Shout out to brother Heru. Shout out to brother Anthony. Shout out to the KTLians. We'll see you later. Peace.
Can't beat us, join us, please bring your coinage. We sing 3-pointers, money shots, all net, all vets. Bumps we not, jet skiing in them sunny spots. With women edible like gummy drops. Dummy stop. No weapon form can intercept a storm. Once my intellect is on, I'm projecting on magnetic fields and interact with blacks with athletic bills. I'm all about growth and development like residents of Ebbets Fields. Not to choose between woo and chew. We wanna line them colors up like a Rubik's Cube and fade to black, yeah, the truest hue. When you say the black man is God, who you alluded to? The usual Clarence 13X, a worthy guest. The words expressed come from the word in flesh. Elijah M, the NOI versus Leviathan. Messiah sent from the heavenly branches. 7 P's from since G-Dub cut down a cherry tree in the wilderness of North Mex, and we flossing death and forced aggression, or forced perception, forced protection, or forced confessions. It's all a lesson.
The sorcerers from Corsica, killer tonics, sticks and drums like the Philharmonic Orchestra. You niggas still playing harmonicas from officers, fabric softener. Jive turkeys popping 5 perkies, playing with keys, the Scotch stores type. For that soft white, we could've caught life, just being forthright. First class on my 4th flight, popping out like Fortnite. Every night we lit like Porsche lights. The meek shall inherit the earth, oh yeah, they're scorched type. And these niggas, they some hoes in these streets. Me, I'm 10 toes in these streets. They lost their souls, niggas got holes in their feet. Shit, I'm just worried about the craft and how to perfect it. Not worried about the craft, yeah, that's out of perspectives. Focus on the chip like I'm Robert Kraft, and then how to protect it. It's the waves of the oceans. Get to the money, nigga, save your emotion. Descendant of the slaves in the graves in the oceans. Mastermind that the waves is in motions. These niggas, they addicted to the folly, addicted to that molly. Making me a movie, them sticks made of holly. I'm Dr. Manhattan, sitting on top of Manhattan. When I get all 5 rings, snap my fingers and pop up on satin. Dressed in all black, yeah, drop top the Phantom.